I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. I got love, peace, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
Episode 7 Musen Kibutsuji. Once the next episode began playing, it gave a brief recap of what happened last episode. Musen's name was shown after the screen was filled with a blank ink. I thought we were watching that human brat, not the king of demons, Shinjiro scowled. You're right, father, it doesn't make sense. Young Kamado is fighting against a swamp demon, Rengoku said. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, Kacho said. What do I have to do with this useless copy of a child? I swear I will kill him soon, Musen thought. It went back to where we left off. Nezuko was running up to the demon, preparing an attack. She brought her leg down, cracking the ground slightly. However, the demon had vanished into its puddle. The two-horned demon chucked as it went into its swamp. Nezuko, Tanjiro called out. Nezuko stopped chasing the demon and faced Tanjiro. No, don't chase him. Come back here. Come to me, Tanjiro said. Hang on. I just noticed something. Tanjiro, your scar. It's different now, Kenroji mentioned. It is. I'm pretty sure it's from when I got thrown against that tree. But I'm not too sure, Tanjiro said. Nezuko began running back to Tanjiro. Tanjiro called out her name as a puddle opened up on the ground. The demon popped out, trying to attack Nezuko. However, she did a front flip over it. She ran the rest of the way after she landed perfectly. Tanjiro gasped slightly. Right, she's not weak. This is what Urokodaki was talking about. Nezuko's a demon now. She's not a weakling. She doesn't need me to protect her. She can handle herself. So maybe she can handle this, Tanjiro thought. If she can protect these two, I can focus on my attack. Tanjiro took a step forward, but then the puddle began expanding underneath him. He jumped out of the way, while the puddle moved. After a moment, the two-horned demon leaped out of the puddle, trying to attack Nezuko and the girl. He missed and landed away from the others. Nezuko, Tanjiro yelled. The puddle went near his feet, so he said, Nezuko, I'm going underground. Keep them safe for me. Can you do that? Is it really wise to leave the demon girl to protect the humans without supervision? She could easily kill them and escape, Iguro said. Now, Iguro-san. Master told us to treat Nezuko like another slayer. Plus, this gives her another chance to prove herself, Kocho said. Nezuko nodded her head slightly. Tanjiro stepped into the puddle, immediately sinking. The demon turned from Tanjiro to Nezuko and laughed. Tanjiro appeared in the swamp dimension. It's a swamp. What are those? Tanjiro wondered as he sunk deeper into the swamp. As he descended, clothes were swimming around him. It's clothing and stuff that belongs to the people who were taken. So many innocent victims, all murdered. It's unforgivable, unforgivable. So many lost souls. I hope that you can avenge them, Tanjiro, Amin said. I'll do my best, I promise, Tanjiro said. The other demons laughed as they saw Tanjiro in their habitat. I suppose those demons are better looking than the ones at final selection, but still, they're giving Master Musen a bad name, Daki thought. Getting hard to breathe yet? There isn't a whole lot of air down here in the swamp. Also, the darkness closing in on you only adds to the weight you feel, the one-horned demon laughed. You can't move the way you would above ground down here. You should have looked before you leapt, you stupid fool, the three-horned demon said. The demons hissed and grinded their teeth as they swam toward Tanjiro. Several articles of clothing were shown as they swam. Tanjiro heard the awful noise and turned. You underestimate me, Tanjiro thought. The demons circled Tanjiro as he kept thinking. After all, where do you think I got my training? The air's even thinner up on Mount Sujiri than it is down here. That demon clearly underestimated you. How sad, Kocho said. I'm glad your training is helping you in battle, Urokodaki said. Me too. It would have been awful if all that training was wasted, Tanjiro laughed. It showed Tanjiro's brutal training. With him running down the mountain and panting at the lack of air. It moved back to Tanjiro in the swamp. He closed his eyes. Besides, some moves only unleash their full potential underwater. Really? That's so cool, Kenroji said. Yeah, but it doesn't matter for me because I can't swim, Tomioka thought. He gripped his sword tighter. One of the demons came close to him, growling. Tanjiro swung his sword. Guess it goes both ways. They move even faster here. But it doesn't matter. All I have to do is slash when they get close enough. I'll use the form that works even when I don't have sure footing. A quick and violent twist of my entire body generated a powerful vortex. The demons came swimming to Tanjiro violently. Their nails were pointy, ready to stab Tanjiro. Here comes the scent, the opening thread, total concentration, water breathing. As Tanjiro called the form, he moved, causing the water around him to flow with his blade. The sword showed the bright blue water as well. Sixth form, whirlpool. I suppose that's flashy enough, for now, Yusui said. The demons screamed as their body parts were cut off. It zoomed out, showing the vortex the move had created. Once the vortex disappeared, Tanjiro saw the decaying heads. He reached out and grabbed something. Before it showed what he grabbed, he gagged. These new demons are useless. You'd think that they'd have some common sense and ability, but no. At this point, Lord Muzan might as well stop creating new demons, Kokushibo thought. He has a point. I'm wasting blood on these demons who are getting killed quickly. I suppose I'll just give more blood to my upper and lower moons instead, Muzan thought. Can't breathe. I gotta get out of here. Hurry, he thought as he began swimming to the opening of the swamp. It went back in time a bit, showing what was happening on the surface while Tanjiro was gone. The puddle gurgled. Kazumi gasped slightly as he looked at the puddle. He turned his attention back to Nezuko and the other demon. They were fighting each other. The swamp demon tried to stab Nezuko's face with his nails, however Nezuko dodged the attacks. After a few more attempted blows, Nezuko brought her arm back and punched the demon clean in its stomach. The demon fell back a bit and threw up blood. Go Nezuko, you've got this, Kenroji said. Why is Kenroji getting impressed by this demon brat? Iguro wondered. I am constantly amazed by not only her strength but also her will, Yubayashiki said. This girl's powerful, the swamp demon thought, as Nezuko continued beating him up. Seems like she hasn't picked up any skills yet, but she's still so strong. He must have given her a massive amount of blood. The demon tried to go into its swamp, but Nezuko ran to him. She knocked him back and tried to kick him, but she was blocked. She's so fast I can't get back down into the swamp, he thought as he caught her punch. At least, I'm starting to pick up the pattern in all her one-noted attacks. He blocked Nezuko's kick. Still in thought, it doesn't matter if she kicks my head off, or if my organs explode, demons can regenerate in no time. He ran up to her, blocked her attack once more, scraping her head, causing it to bleed. Kazumi gasped as Nezuko groaned in pain. Pantingu shrunk in fear as more blood was shown. Several of the Hashiras took note of this. Nezuko scooted closer to Tanjiro. Nezuko, Tanjiro yelled. You're overreacting. She's a demon, so something like that won't kill her, Jayako huffed. That's right. Now I'm gonna drill a hole right through your face, the demon thought. He launched his arm towards Nezuko's face. Nezuko opened her eyes while holding her head. However, Tanjiro emerged from the swamp and ran to the two-horned demon. Perfect timing, Yubayashiki said. Tanjiro cut off the demon's arm, just in time. The demon screamed in pain. Hands off my sister, Tanjiro said firmly. Blood was spilling everywhere around them. Before the demon could regenerate its arm back, Tanjiro sliced off the other one. The arm flew into the air, a trail of blood spewing from it. The demon fell to the ground. Blood was going all over the place. Tanjiro brought his sword to the demon's face. Tanjiro brought Nezuko behind him, protecting her. Why didn't you cut off its head? Shinazugawa scowled. I need to get information on Muzan Kibutsuji on how to turn Nezuko back, Tanjiro responded. As if he'd tell you anything, brat, Muzan thought. He just took me out. This stupid kid beat two of me already, he thought, his head full of fear. You smell horrible. You give off a scent of rotten oil. I know where it comes from. Tell me, how many people have you killed? Tanjiro yelled at the demon. Give me a break already. If women live too long, they turn ugly and then they won't taste good anymore. I killed them for their own good. You know, you should be thanking us, the demon shouted back. Is that demon really trying to justify its actions? How disgusting, Iguro said. Its reasoning isn't even good, Kiria said. Before the demon could continue yelling, Tanjiro sliced its mouth. The demon gagged and spat out blood. Good, don't show mercy for demons who have killed people, Kacho smiled. Tanjiro was furious and his voice showed it. Never mind. Huh? The demon backed up against the fence, its breathing was raspy. Tanjiro's sword was right in the demon's face, ready to attack if necessary. What do you know about Musen Kibutsuji? Tell me, Tanjiro demanded. The demon widened its eyes after Tanjiro said the Demon King's name. He hesitated and sat in fear. It whimpered, sitting in thought. Musen's face flashed in its vision. He was holding his finger to his mouth, as if to tell the demon to be quiet. Several of the slayers sat in trying to figure out what was happening. What the hell? Zenitsu exclaimed. Lord Musen, you look absolutely terrifying. It's beautiful, Enmu praised. Talk to me. Come on, talk, Tanjiro demanded once more. His sword pointed right at the demon's neck. I can't, the demon said. Tanjiro stood with confusion on his face. Huh? Why can't it? Genya asked. That doesn't make sense. It was shaking in fear before sobbing. I can't tell you. I can't do it. I just can't. It showed the demon before it turned. He was foaming at the mouth, and blood was around him as well. The Demon King was choking him. You mustn't tell a soul. No one can know anything about me. Do you understand? Don't forget I'm always watching you. So if you tell anyone I will know about it, Musen threatened. How awful. This is why he must be destroyed, Yubayashiki thought. Musen Kibutsuji, I promise that I will defeat you this generation, Shinazugawa muttered. Musen scowled. I wouldn't try if I was you, unless you want to lose your fingers, toes, and life. I can't say, the demon whimpered to Tanjiro before repeating. I can't. Now the only thing I smell is fear. He's terrified, Tanjiro thought. I can't tell you all right, the demon shouted before regrowing its arms. The demon regrew its arms. Kill it, Tanjiro, Zenitsu yelled as he grabbed onto Tanjiro's Haori. You should have killed it when you had the chance. Now you're putting the two people in danger, Iguro said. Don't worry, I'm sure I'll kill the demon swiftly, Tanjiro assured the humans. He tried to attack Tanjiro, but it didn't work. Tanjiro cut off its arms and head swiftly. The head rolled away before completely disintegrating, the body following shortly. Tanjiro groaned. I failed to get any information. Again, Tanjiro thought, annoyed. He put his sword back into its sheath. He looked at Nezuko, freaking out when he saw her sleeping. Nezuko, he yelled as he ran up to her. He caressed Nezuko's cheek before speaking. She's asleep, and the bleeding stopped. So that does help her recover. I failed. I'm sorry, but just hang on. I promise you that I will make you human again. Tanjiro put Nezuko back into her box. Kazumi had put down the girl. He was on his knees mortified. The night was almost over by the time the demon had been slain. Tanjiro put the box on his shoulders before walking over to Kazumi. I hope that things get better for him, Rengoku said. Mr. Kazumi, Tanjiro said as he bent down, are you all right? He began crying. I lost my fiancée. How could I be all right? Mr. Kazumi, you have to go on no matter what. In spite of losing people, even though it's devastating, Tanjiro said calmly. His words remind me of Kenny. Words as gentle as sunlight, Kacho thought. Such wise words, Haimjima praised. Kazumi grabbed Tanjiro's Haori and screamed at him. How am I supposed to do that? You're just a kid. What do you know? Tanjiro began tearing up slightly at the harsh words. He used his Haori to wipe his eyes. What harsh words? You didn't deserve that, Aoi said. Tanjiro put his hands gently on top of Kazumi's and smiled. Kazumi moved back. His eyes widened. Tanjiro stood up. I'll be on my way now, Tanjiro said calmly. Everybody stood in awe at Tanjiro's kindness, wondering why he didn't fight back when he had every right to, wondering why he didn't lash out calling the man ungrateful. You saved his ass, why are you just letting him talk to you like that? Jotaro yelled. He was grieving, there was no point in yelling at him. At least that's how I feel right now, Tanjiro answered. He grabbed a piece of cloth from his pocket and handed it to Kazumi. Isn't that the, Zenitsu started. It's the cloth that the demon filled with his trophies, Kenroji said, tearing up. I hope that he can find something that belonged to his fiancée in there, Rengoku said. Here, hopefully you'll find something of Miss Satoko's in there, Tanjiro said. Kazumi wept as he opened the fabric, finding the bow that Satoko wore. He brought it to his face and wept harder. Tanjiro bowed before taking his leave. Kazumi gasped and looked back at Tanjiro. "You're so kind, Tanjiro. Never lose it," Yubayashiki smiled. I promise. I'll stay kind for as long as possible. Without letting it be my downfall," Tanjiro smiled back. Why did he do that? Doesn't he have his own priorities? He shouldn't be wasting time on this man. He should be heading to his next mission. Takedo thought. You've been through this yourself, haven't you? He thought as Tanjiro continued walking away. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry, he pleaded. Tanjiro didn't turn around. All he did was wave at Kazumi. His hands were covered in calluses and bruises. His hands are heartbreaking, hardened and thick from training. They're not the hands of a boy. Kazumi thought tears fell out of his eyes. I'm leaving the girl with you. Get her home safe, Tanjiro shouted. He walked away after. Let's hope the Kikuchi get there before anyone sees them two together, Aoi said. Huh? What do you mean? Tanjiro asked. Think about it. The townsfolk don't know about demons. They just think someone is kidnapping the girls. Kazumi-san has already taken the blame for the last victim, so they might try to pin it on him again, Aoi explained. Oh, Tanjiro frowned. I do that, I promise, Kazumi shouted back as he wept. I suppose that fight was all right. But still, he looks awfully weak. We better get to the good parts soon, Akaza thought. It changed to midday. Tanjiro's crow was circling the air. It followed Tanjiro, who was walking angrily. I'm not alone. How many people have you killed, tortured, tormented? I'll never forgive you, Muzan Kibutsuji. I'll make you pay. That rage. I need him killed immediately. I don't care what it takes. Muzan thought. His face was filled with a mix of fear and anger. I'm confused. This part was labeled as the Demon King's name, but so far, he hasn't been seen at all, Hinatsuru said. Be patient, please. All will make sense in due time, Shiro said. Tanjiro was taken out of his rage by his crow landing on his shoulder. Head to Asakusa, Tokyo now. Rumor has it that demons are lurking around there. Ka. Wait. Asakusa, Tokyo. Don't I have a fake family there? He better not run into me, or my heart will explode after I explode his head. Muzan thought. I've got another mission already, Tanjiro said. Oh yes you do, his crow replied in a sing-song voice. Could you at least give me a minute, Tanjiro tried to reason. I don't even get a second to relax, Tanjiro complained. If you can move, you can kill demons. Also, your voice is annoying, Takedo said. No time, move it. Come on, just give me a chance to, Tanjiro tried to say. His crow fluttered around his face. Hey, Tanjiro yelled. Just shut up and get a move on, his crow yelled. The screen went black for a moment before showing the city. It was dark out, but the city was well lit. The city was still bustling despite the night being out. The streets were filled with people. It took a moment, but it showed Tanjiro. He was in shock. Wow, the city is so big and advanced, Tanjiro said, his face lit up. What were you expecting? Zenitsu asked. Well, Nezuko and I grew up in a small town. So, whenever it got dark, it was dark until the sun rose once more, Tanjiro chuckled. The big cities have come a lot further than I expected. It's nighttime, but it's so bright out, he thought. Several signs were hung out around the city saying different things. Tanjiro stood in the middle of the path, while Nezuko was still sleeping. Her wound was fully closed. Oh, Nezuko is still sleeping. I hope she wakes up soon, Tanjiro muttered. The buildings are so tall, what's the deal? Incredible and overwhelming. He thought as he dragged Nezuko through the crowd. A train was coming near the siblings. Tanjiro gasped slightly and stepped back. Despite not being in the way, he pulled his blue hood up. This is making me feel dizzy, he admitted. Tanjiro dragged Nezuko through the crowd before finding an alleyway. That's not a good idea, Tomioka thought as he remembered what happened when he went down a dark alleyway. Let's go this way, Tanjiro said. However, what he didn't expect was two people making out in the darkness. Tanjiro stood mortified, blush on his cheeks from embarrassment. He bowed. So sorry to bother you, he said, before quickly leaving the alleyway. A few laughed at Tanjiro's situation. Tanjiro looked away from the screen and blush covered his face. God, People should really be more mindful of others, Shinazugawa scoffed. Tanjiro ran with Nezuko through the city. He was overwhelmed with all the bright lights and loud noises. Eventually, he made it to a less crowded area, where there was an udon cart. "Pardon me, sir. Could I get a bowl of udon with grated yam?" Tanjiro asked. "Shouldn't you be looking for the demon?" Genya asked. "I know, but I just needed a break. The city was likely giving me a headache from the bright lights." "Sorry," Tanjiro explained. "Why, yes, coming right up," the shop owner said. Tanjiro sat on a bench while his food was being made. Nezuko rocked back and forth, her eyes still closed. "I've never been to a place like this before. It's way too crowded," Tanjiro said. Tanjiro smiled as Nezuko rested her head on his shoulder. "Here your udon with yam. Let me know how you like it," the man said, as he gave Tanjiro his food through the window. "How delicious," Kenroji said. "I'd love some udon right now." "Oh, thank you very much," Tanjiro said as he grabbed his food. "That food looks absolutely delicious," Rengoku shouted. Tanjiro took one sip of his steaming food, and then a red mist filled his nose. Tanjiro stood up and dropped his bowl in fear. He smelled the air again several times. As he looked around, he took his sword and ran back into the main part of the city. "Why are you running back into the city now?" Kanao asked after she flipped her coin. "How could you drop such a good bowl of udon?" Rengoku asked. "That scent, why is it here? And why now?" he wondered as he ran to the crowd. "It's the same scent I found at my house, Muzan Kibutsuji." "Wait, what? You can just smell him. That's so useful," Aoi shouted. "Please tell me you're not planning on confronting him carelessly," Yurakodaki said. "He can follow my scent. That's not good," Muzan thought. Tanjiro pushed through the crowd, the red mist guiding him to his target. "It must be him. He's here." The mist led to one person. Tanjiro grabbed his shoulder, and the man looked at Tanjiro. His red eyes sent chills down Tanjiro's spine. "Yo, you are a fool. Master Muzan is just going to kill you. Spill your blood all over the streets," Hantengu warned. "That sucks. Now you can't become a demon and spar with me forever," Akaza groaned. "It's just our luck that his look-alike found Lord Muzan. Knowing Muzan, he's going to send an upper moon to kill the boy," Kokushibo thought. "Huh," Muzan murmured. He was confused. Anger was glazed on Tanjiro's face. "I found him." Tanjiro reached to pull out his sword, but he stopped. "What? Why are you stopping? You caught him off guard. Kill him," Iguro shouted. "Daddy," a little girl's voice said. Muzan turned and revealed a little girl who had 2 pink bows in her hair. All of the humans in the room froze when they heard the little girl. "What the fuck? Why do you have a child, you bastard?" Shinazugawa yelled. "Language, Seimi," Yubayashiki said calmly, trying to assess the situation. "Who's that?" she asked. Tanjiro froze in horror. "Don't worry, sweetie," Muzan said. His voice was hushed under Tanjiro's thoughts. "What is this? Is he? He's living here posing as a human," he thought as it showed a side view of their meeting. "I'm sorry, is there something I can do for you? Are you all right? You seem to be a bit flustered," Muzan asked, his voice carefree. Another human walked up to the 3 and spoke. "Darling, what's the matter?" "That woman. She thinks he's her husband," Suma exclaimed fearfully. "Don't worry, mother," the little girl assured. Tanjiro shuddered in fear, bringing a hand to his mouth and stomach. "They're human, the girl and the woman. Their scent is human. But how? Can't you tell? This guy is a demon. He eats people." "Who is this boy?" the woman asked. "I really don't know. I'm just as confused as you are. I've never seen him before," Muzan replied. "This is vile. He's posing as a human. Tanjiro can't kill him now because there are too many witnesses. However, the same is true for Kibutsuji. I pray for Tanjiro's safety," Yubayashiki thought. Tanjiro stood in disbelief. Just then Muzan extended his nails. "He must have made a mistake, thought that I was someone else," Muzan said as he scratched someone on the back of his neck. "Wait, is there blood leaving that man's neck?" Tanjiro wondered. "Oh, you think that's it," his wife said. Tanjiro gasped, noticing the blood leaving the man's neck. The man grabbed at his neck, his wife checking in on him. "Oh, what's going on, sweetheart?" his wife asked. He moved his hand from his neck and transformed into a demon. His teeth grew much sharper and veins looked like they were about to burst. "You bastard, you made another demon just to escape Kamado-kun, didn't you?" Iguro said. "You look pale," his wife commented. Her husband looked up from the ground. Saliva was spewing out of his mouth. His sclera was red rather than white. He growled as he bit his wife's shoulder. "The lady, he attacked her," Kenroji yelled. "No, stop," Tanjiro yelled as he ran towards the couple. The woman screamed in pain as bystanders looked in horror. Muzan looked annoyed yet content that the Slayer was going to leave. After that the screen faded to black once again. "Tanjiro, you must choose, saving the people in the crowd, or going after Kibutsuji," Yubayashiki said. "I know. I'll try to do whatever I can," Tanjiro confirmed. "This brat. I can't wait for him to be killed by someone. He thinks he has the right to confront our lord and get away with it," Jayako thought. "Let's continue then," Shira said. Episode 8: The Smell of Enchanting Blood. The screen showed a recap of how the last episode ended. After that the screen filled with black, as the title was shown in kanji. It moved back to the city, and the woman's scream filled everyone's ears. The crowd began murmuring at the sight. "I can't believe that Tanjiro ran into Kibutsuji. No Hashira has even gotten close to him," Kenroji said. "What is it? What's wrong?" a bystander asked. "Is that blood?" a woman gasped. "Blood? How lovely. Lord Muzan is so amazing," Enmu thought. The man moved his head away from his wife for a moment, before growling. Tanjiro ran towards the new demon and shouted, "Stop, no." What a disgusting tactic, Makio thought. How unflashy, turning a person into a demon just to get away, Yuzui scoffed. Muzan slanted his eyes in annoyance as Tanjiro moved to the victim. Tanjiro took off his hood and wrapped it around his hand. He pulled the demon of the woman and stuffed his mouth. "No, sweetheart," the woman yelled as she held onto her wound. "Listen, you need to worry about yourself. Ma'am, cover that wound and apply as much pressure as you can," Tanjiro yelled. He stayed on top of the demon, grabbing his hands as the demon tried to move. "You're doing a good job navigating the situation, Tanjiro," Yubayashiki smiled. "Thank you. I'm still frustrated that Kibutsuji is going to get away," Tanjiro said. "It's all right. It'll all turn out fine. The woman's wound doesn't look fatal," Tanjiro thought as he looked back at the woman and the men assisting her. "Press down harder. It needs more pressure. Tie it down with a rope," he yelled. He turned his attention back to the husband. "It'll all be okay. This man hasn't killed anyone yet. A few seconds ago this guy was minding his own business walking down the street." The little girl cried softly as she moved closer to her fake father. "Are you all right? Don't look okay," Muzan asked gently, turning to his fake wife. "Rei, I think we should go. It's not safe." "Bastard," Shinjiro muttered. "Where is he?" Tanjiro looked behind him trying to find Muzan. He watched as Muzan and his fake family left the crowd. Tanjiro's face was full of anger. Damn it all. The world went black, only showing Muzan, his family, Tanjiro, and the demon he was on top of. "I can't leave this man alone here," Tanjiro thought. "Truly a harsh decision to make," Kocho said. Tanjiro began yelling, "Muzan Kibutsuji. No matter where you go, I promise you won't escape me." "Now that's flashy," Yusui said, as he moved to the edge of his seat. Zenitsu turned to Tanjiro. "What? Why yelling at the Demon King? Are you out of your mind?" "I mean every word. Even though this happens in the future, I would say the exact same words," Tanjiro said. "What's the matter with that boy, Tsukihiko?" "Tsukihiko," Rei asked as they walked away from the danger. Tanjiro watched as nothing changed. Muzan gritted his teeth slightly in anger, walking away from the Slayer faster. "You can run as far as you want. I'll follow you to the ends of hell, and my blade will be the last thing you see. I'll never forgive you for what you've done," Tanjiro screamed. "You're stupid. What if he turned around and attacked you?" Iguro asked. "He wouldn't have. That I'm sure of, just by looking around. He wouldn't risk killing me in front of so many people," Tanjiro said. Unfortunately, the police began to arrive at the scene. They saw Tanjiro holding the man. "Oh no," Yurikodaki said. "What's wrong?" Tanjiro asked. "Did you forget that the Demon Slayer Corp isn't recognized by the government?" Genya said. What the hell's going on over here? A police officer asked. Probably another drunk, another officer said. Step away from that man right now, kid, one of them said. I can't. Bring restraints to hold him down. Quickly, Tanjiro said. The officer grabbed at his Haori and said, Get away from him. Get up. Please, don't do that. I'm the only one who can hold him back, Tanjiro pleaded. I doubt that's going to work, Kenroji sighed. Get up, they yelled. I'm begging you. No, Tanjiro pleaded once more. Out of all the people in the crowd, only two were shown brightly. A woman wearing a flower-printed kimono and a boy with blue hair. Wait, that's me and Lady Tamio. Don't tell me we're going to intervene, Yushiro glared. I wonder if those two people are going to be important, seeing as how they're the only ones in color, Kocho said. Well, I don't know who they are, so that seems feasible, Tanjiro said. Get a load of this guy's face. Looks like he's lost his mind, the officer said. Help me get that kid off him, the second officer said. Let me go, Tanjiro yelled. I don't want to let this person kill anybody. Just stay out of the way. Someone could get hurt. Such a shame they won't listen to the poor boy, Dalma said. As Tanjiro yelled, the two were shown again. The woman looked surprised at Tanjiro's comment. The officers grabbed Tanjiro's checkered Haori and tried to pull him off. Damn it, listen to me. If you keep resisting, I'm gonna have to use force, the first officer threatened as he raised his baton. You're just going to let them hit you. You should challenge them to a fight to the death, Inosuke shouted. I don't think I should take advice from a person wearing a boar head, Tanjiro thought. Tanjiro prepared to be hit, but at that moment something happened. A yellow scent rail appeared, along with several colorful flowers. The woman in the flowery kimono was scratching her arm, causing blood to flow out. Where are the flowers coming from? Is it a blood demon art? Yubayashiki asked. What on earth is she doing? Is she causing the flowers to appear? Kacho asked. Scent of illusory blood, visual dream, the woman said elegantly. I know that blood demon art. It's that traitor. So, she's still alive. If she takes that kid with her, I can kill two birds with one stone, Muzan thought. That smell, what is it? Tanjiro wondered. Before the man could bring out his baton, the flowers guarded Tanjiro. What's with the flowers? The first officer asked. The flowers continued to whirl around Tanjiro, protecting him and the demon from the officers. Tanjiro sat up and looked at the pattern. The hell's this? I can't see anything, the first officer commented. I can't tell if she's helping Tanjiro or trying to hurt him, Shinjiro said. Brother, I assume that she's trying to hurt him, seeing as how she's a demon, Rengoku said. Tanjiro hunched back over in thought. Some kind of spell? That could mean trouble. The smell's getting stronger. As Tanjiro looked to his right, the woman began to walk over to him. Tanjiro stayed on top of the demon but was ready to make a move. The back of the woman was shown as she spoke. I beg your pardon, but you said person, even though this particular person is now a demon, and now you're trying to save him, so if you don't mind, I'd like to lend you a hand. Why the hell isn't she attacking him? Shinazukawa yelled. Tamio spoke up in the back, causing everyone to look at her. I'm not attacking him because I don't eat humans. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tamio. Lady Tamio, why are you revealing us? I put the seal on us so they couldn't see us, the boy asked. Now, Yushiro, we are on the Slayer's side, so it would be beneficial for us to let them know that now, Tamio said. I need her to be killed, but I suppose I'll just have to wait to tell the moons because they can hear us speak. This room is so annoying, Muzan thought. Their faces were shown. Tamio had purple eyes, with no visible pupils. Yushiro had lighter purple eyes with slit pupils. Why in the world would your scent? I know what you are, Tanjiro said, his guard still up. You do, I'm a demon, Tamio admitted. The man looked surprised at her honesty. It was hard enough to believe one demon didn't eat humans. But now there's two more, Shinazugawa muttered. Tanjiro looked confused, yet curious as to why the woman admitted such a thing. However, he was answered as Tamio continued talking. But I am also a doctor. I want to help, and I want to annihilate Kibutsuji as well, she said elegantly. You're a demon doctor, but isn't it difficult to treat humans with all the blood? Kacho asked, her tone firm. I see that you find it distasteful, but I've altered my body to not need blood, Tamio explained. It changed scenery, showing everyone what Muzin did after he left. They stood in front of a building. The lighting wasn't as bright. I suppose this is what kind of useful information those demon brats were talking about. My question is, if they're demons, how come Master Muzin can't control them? Daki thought. You're not coming with us, Daddy, the girl asked. No, Daddy has work to do, Muzin responded. I have to go to a boring, old business meeting. And I'm worried about what just happened. Darling, Ray said. Muzin smiled. Not to worry, I'm just going down to check in with the police. Now hop in. Ray and her daughter got into the carriage. Promise you'll come home soon, okay, Daddy, the girl said. I hope those souls get help soon, Hanjima said. Me too, Rengoku agreed. I will. Be a good girl for Mommy, he said. He turned to the driver. Take them back to the house. Quickly, please. The engine of the carriage started, and they drove away. Muzin then walked into an alleyway. Come on, let's hit one more bar, a man cheered. He was very drunk. Ya-chan, you feeling all right there? His sister asked, also clearly drunk. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not even a little bit drunk yet, he said, moving in a zigzag. He bumped into Muzin. Oh dear. I hope nothing happens to that man, Kenroji thought. Hey, what the hell are you doing, mister? He asked. Muzin took a moment to reply, his face covered by the darkness. Apologizes. He continued walking before Ya-chan put his hand on his shoulder. Hey, where you going? Ya-chan asked. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm in a bit of a hurry, Muzin said firmly. Ya-chan began slurring his words. What the hell ya say to me? Look at you all decked out in your fancy pants and fancy clothes. You're pissing me off. You and your stupid pale face. You look like you're about to fall over dead. Ah, I didn't know that man wanted to die, Jayako chuckled. Doesn't he realize that he's being rude to the demon lord? I don't want to see the blood, Hantingu said. Muzin looked at the man, fury dawning on his face. His eyes began twitching in anger as the man waved his arms. All of the humans froze at the aura emanating from the Demon King. The demons knew what that face meant. Muzin was pissed. Aren't you gonna say anything? Or did you just croak? Ya-chan antagonized. Muzin raised his fist, barely punching the man. However, this was enough to send him flying into the wall. Ya-chan grunted slightly before slumping to the ground, dead. His sister screamed as she watched it happen. A few people held back their vomit as they witnessed the Demon King murder someone. A few of the demons giggled at the sight of their master standing his ground. Oh my god, that's fucking brutal, Iguro said. That poor person, Kenroji said. Oh please, he was asking for it, Daki scoffed. Nobody was asking for death. He was clearly intoxicated. He didn't know what he was saying. Don't go around trying to justify murdering an innocent person, Tanjiro yelled. Shut up, you ugly brat. If there wasn't a barrier between us, I'd slice your head clean off, Daki shouted back. What did you do to my kid brother? The other man demanded. No, he's dead. This monster killed him, the lady screamed as she held her brother's corpse. The man grunted and raised his fist. You basta. Before he could finish his sentence, Muzin threw him into the air. Blood spewed out of his mouth. The body fell right in front of the lady. Fear was glossed on her face. Muzin walked up to the lady and sat on his knees. So does my complexion look unhealthy to you? He asked as he touched her cheek. Does my face seem unusually pale? Do I look a bit sickly? Does it appear I'm not long for this world? Do you fear for my life? I wonder why he's saying that to the woman. Does he hate looking sick that much? Kiria thought. He brought back his hand. You couldn't possibly be more wrong. I'm very much alive, and not far from perfection, he said as he grew a nail longer. He brought it to her forehead and stabbed her with it. What do you think would happen if I gave you a constant stream of my blood? What the hell? She isn't your science experiment, Hinetsuru said. I'm giving you a chance to take back what you said. I don't take orders from mere humans, Muzin said angrily. It showed his blood entering the woman. She babbled, becoming incoherent. She began seizing at the amount of demonic blood entering her. The human body is unable to withstand such a rapid transformation, Muzin said as he pulled out his bloodied finger. The woman's skin was bluish-gray and her sclera was red. Her eyes began looking around as she gagged. Red veins were prominent against her blue skin. And its cells are destroyed, Muzin continued. Her chest began bubbling up. Before turning red, she screamed as she turned into a puddle of human flesh and blood. Before she died, she brought up her hand trying to touch Muzan, but failed. Her hand fell to the ground, adding to the human death puddle. The dust hissed as it fully died. Several of the kids in the front row gagged at the sight. Even the slayers looked away in both respect and disgust. Hanjima was praying for the victims, and Shinazugawa bit back several curse words. Muzan stood up and snapped. Not even a second later, 2 demons appeared behind him. There's a demon slayer who wears Hanafuda earrings. I want you to bring me his head. Got that? Muzan demanded. Tanjiro looked back at the screen in fear. Wait, is he targeting me? Why? Is it because I found him in public? Tanjiro thought in fear. I see. When we get back, I'll need to have a Hashira to train him. It's clear that Muzan is targeting him now. Yubayashiki thought. Yes, the male demon said. The female demon followed. As you wish. I could kill those demons. They look weak, Inosuke commented. They both vanished as quickly as they appeared. Muzan stood in silence momentarily, before fear coated his face. A demon slayer was shown standing over someone. He had a red Haori. Sadly, both faces in the flashback were covered. When that slayer was shown, all of the demons under Muzan's control sat in silence. Fear was plastered on most of their faces. The Hashiras looked at them, noting their reactions. That's the slayer who drove Lord Muzan into a corner, Hantingu thought. Yoriichi, it seems your presence has stained us all, Kokushibo thought. Hanafuda earrings, Muzan murmured. Wait, who's that? Yushiro asked. And why is the literal demon king afraid of him? I know who that is, Tameo said. Who? And why is Kibutsuji afraid of him? Shinjiro asked. His name is Yoriichi, I believe. He had the power to drive Kibutsuji into a corner and nearly kill him, Tameo responded. The slayers sat in awe of this person's power. They were flabbergasted, but Kacho was first to speak again. It zoomed into the slayer. Their blade was red, and he had long red hair similar to Tanjiro. But the most noticeable feature was the Hanafuda earrings that the man wore. The intensity was cut short by the shopkeeper yelling at Tanjiro. Tanjiro, it seems that you have the same earrings as this man, Kocho said. I'm not sure why, but I do know that these earrings are a family heirloom, Tanjiro responded. Before you all make your theories, please continue reacting. You'll get a break after episode 11, Shiro said. Now you listen to me. All right, it has nothing to do with money. That's not the problem here. I just can't forgive the fact that you would walk away from a perfectly good bowl of udon, the shopkeeper yelled. I'm so sorry. Can I please have another one? Tanjiro said. To eat? The man questioned. Yes, Tanjiro responded. The man got in Tanjiro's face. You promise? I promise. I can't believe that you wasted that perfectly good udon, even though you were going after Kibutsuji, Rengoku said. I still can't believe that Kibutsuji let you live, Tanjiro, Zenitsu said. All right, what about you? If you're eating udon, you better take off that bamboo thingy. What the heck is it anyway? Take these chopsticks, all right, he said to Nezuko. I'd like a bowl of udon. In fact, give me 2 of them, Tanjiro said. Okay, the man said as he moved away from Tanjiro. 2 bowls of udon were made. Tanjiro slurped up the noodles quickly. The man gasped at Tanjiro's speed. Once Tanjiro was done with the second bowl, he slammed it on the cart. Thanks for the great meal. It was delicious, Tanjiro said after he clapped his hands together. I'm glad you liked it. Come back again anytime, the man said as the siblings left. I'm so sorry, Nezuko. I left you behind, Tanjiro apologized. It wasn't a good idea. What if she went on a rampage? Iguro asked. Obanai, I told you to treat her fairly. On several occasions we've seen her protect humans. I want you to accept her, Yubayashiki said. Sorry, master, Iguro said. They were walking down a path when Nezuko stopped. She growled slightly, her pupils becoming slits. What is it? Tanjiro asked. He looked back in front of them, and there stood the boy from earlier. Tanjiro walked up to him with Nezuko. Are you out here waiting for us? He asked Yushiro. I'm here on her orders. I'm supposed to bring you back with me, Yushiro explained. I already know Tameo's blood demon art, but what is his? Muzan wondered. You know, I could have just tracked your scent, Tanjiro said. Our hiding place is protected by a concealment spell. You'd never have found it, Yushiro said. Concealment, Tanjiro repeated. Ah, concealing things. That could be annoying, Muzan thought. Before we go, he pointed at Nezuko, did you know that girl's a demon? And not much to look at. Yushiro, that's unkind. Apologize now, Tamio demanded. Right, he shouted, before looking at Tanjiro, sorry. Tanjiro got lost in his head. What was that? Did he just? Doesn't that mean ugly? But who? Tanjiro looked at Nezuko, realizing what he was talking about. Nezuko. Kenroji giggled. Tanjiro-kun, your face. You look so weird. Iguro scowled as Tanjiro thanked her. I'm gonna kill him. You've got to be out of your mind. Who would look at Nezuko and think she's ugly? She was the most beautiful girl in our whole town. You know that, Tanjiro exclaimed. Yushiro seemed unimpressed as he spoke. Let's go. Tanjiro grabbed Nezuko and followed the boy. We're already coming, but take back what you said about her. You just need to get a look at her in better lighting. Come on, over there, let's go. They went to a dark alleyway, but Tanjiro was still bickering. I know what it is. It's this stupid muzzle. That's the only explanation, Tanjiro argued. He grabbed Nezuko's face. You just need to behold Nezuko's beauty when she's not wearing this ugly thing. Unbeknownst to Tanjiro, the boy had already left. He disappeared behind a fence. Tanjiro looked back and gasped when he couldn't see the boy. The boy peeked back out annoyedly. Hurry it up. While nobody's looking. Tanjiro gasped as he walked through the fence. It zoomed into the house, showing a seal on it. Wow, that's so cool, Yushiro, Kenroji squealed. I agree, that's quite a useful demon art, Rengoku said. I could have sworn that street was a dead end, Tanjiro exclaimed. Pay attention. Now make sure you don't offend the lady in any way, the boy said as he got close to Tanjiro, because I couldn't care less what happens to you. I only brought you here because she insisted. Got it. Ugh, now we're back to the light-hearted mushy stuff. I know that Muzan deployed some demons to kill them, so hopefully I get to see a fight soon, Akaza thought. Okay, sure, Tanjiro said hesitantly. Yushiro knocked on the door twice. Come in, Tamio said. I've returned my lady, Yushiro said. Tamo wore white scrubs over her kimono. On the bed next to her, the injured woman lay. I'm glad you made it, Tamio smiled. The three of them walked into the room. I'm sorry I left everything for you to take care of, Tanjiro apologized. So how's she doing? She'll make a full recovery, Tamio said, before turning back to the woman. But her husband, be locked up. He's restrained in the basement. I'm glad she's going to recover, Kacho said. Tanjiro spoke once more. Isn't it difficult treating humans? All of that blood. Yushiro punched Tanjiro in the chest, offended by his comment. Is that what you think? She chokes back her own drool when she treats a human. 'Cause demons can't control themselves. To be fair though, all other interactions he's had with demons have been negative. So it's not that far-fetched of an idea, Suma defended. Sorry, Tanjiro said. She stood up quickly, scolding the boy. Why would you do that? Why would you resort to violence? Did I ever introduce myself? Apologize, my name is Tamio, and this is Yushiro. I hope you two can be friends. Friends? Tanjiro repeated in thought. Yushiro stared at the ground, fighting back the urge to punch Tanjiro again. Tanjiro groaned uncomfortably before looking at Yushiro, who was shooting him daggers. That seems unlikely, Tanjiro thought. It's not all that difficult, Tamo said, at least not for me, but it's different for other demons. My body's physiology has gone through considerable changes, and I've removed Kibutsuji's curse. So she's altered her body. I wonder if she'd tell me how she did it as I pulled her limb from limb and absorbed her. Dalma wondered. What curse are you talking about? Genya asked. What curse? And what kind of changes? Tanjiro asked. Tamio removed her scrubs and put them away. She led the siblings to a door. Now that I know she's a good demon, she's quite pretty. I want a wife that looks like her, Zenitsu thought. Come with me, she said. They entered the room, and Nezuko lay on the floor. Hey Nezuko, that's bad manners, Tanjiro said. Tamio giggled. It's quite all right. Make yourselves at home. Sorry about that, Tanjiro said. As I was saying, I made several adjustments to our bodies so that we could continue to live without harming any human beings. We can survive on just a small amount of human blood, Tamao said. So you do need blood, Makio questioned. Only a small amount though, Yushiro, and I haven't killed anyone if that's what you want to know. Tanjiro freaked out slightly. Wait, blood, so you're saying? I understand if you find it distasteful, but I buy it from those in poverty. I tell them I'll use it for transfusions. But of course I never take enough blood to impair someone, Tamio explained. That's quite interesting. I'm glad that you're still on our side, Tamao, Yubayashiki said. Wait, master, you knew about her? Rengoku asked. I did, although I didn't know about Yushiro, he responded. No wonder. That would explain why neither one of them has the same scent as a normal demon. Except they still need human blood. If that's the case, what about Nezuko? Tanjiro thought. And Yushiro needs even less blood than I do, Tamio said, since I'm the one who turned him into a demon. Tanjiro gasped. Huh? You turned him? But how? I thought only Kibutsuji could turn humans, Tomioka asked. My, you're finally talking Tomioka. Though you bring up a good point, Kacho said. As the conversation unfolded, Nezuko was sliding back and forth on the floor. How did I do it? As far as anyone knows, Kibutsuji is the only one who can create demons, and that's more or less accurate. It took me over 200 years, and even after all that I could only transform Yushiro, Tamio said, as it zoomed in on her and Yushiro. 200 years, that's a long time, Senjiro said. I can't believe this traitor knows how to turn humans. I can't believe this, she needs to be killed immediately, Daki thought. 200 years, Tanjiro exclaimed as he brought his hand to his forehead. It took you 200 years before you could figure out how to transform just one person. How old are you, Miss Tamio? Yushiro punched Tanjiro once more before yelling, You should know better than to ask a lady her age. Yushiro, Tamio said in a demanding tone, if you hit that boy again, I'll make you regret it. It was worth it though, Yushiro thought. How many times is he going to hurt me? Am I nothing but a training doll? Tanjiro thought as he clutched his stomach. Yushiro moved back to his seat quickly. Before responding, Yes, ma'am. She's beautiful even when she's angry, Yushiro thought. Yushiro blushed as his thoughts were revealed. Tamio giggled at Yushiro's comment. Several followed Tamio. Tanjiro coughed, holding his throat in pain. Nezuko looked at Yushiro, angry he hurt her brother. I'm sorry. I'd like to clarify that further. Creating more demons is not one of my goals, and I only do so when necessary, the terminally ill or injured. Only when they won't survive, and even in those cases, I always ask in advance if they truly prefer to live on as a demon, Tamio clarified. Tanjiro smelt the air around them. Her scent is pure, no sign of deception. I think I can trust her. What the hell? You can even smell whether someone's pure or not. That's hella creepy, Shinzugawa said. It might be creepy, but it's also flashy, Yusui followed. Miss Tamio, once someone becomes a demon, is there a way to turn them back again? Tanjiro asked. Before Tanjiro could get his answer, it changed to outside the house, in the alleyway. A ball was jingling as it bounced. It showed the two demons that Muzin talked to earlier. One was wearing an orange kimono, and the other wore a green yukata. Aren't those the demons Kibutsuji called for? Yusui asked. It's fine, our house is hidden, Yushiro assured. The male demon moved his hands, revealing eyes on them. They had green sclere and the irises were orange with arrow pupils. He brought his hands to the ground, moving them around. You see anything? The female demon asked, as she held her temeri. Yes, I can see their footprints. No question this is it, he responded. The eyes twitched. It then showed what the eyes could see. He continued speaking. They make a sharp turn right over there. 3 of them headed that way. One of them is carrying some kind of oversized box. Or maybe not, Yushiro grimaced. He has eyes on his hands, Iguro said. That's Yahaba and Suzumaru. They better not fail me, Muzin thought. He stood up, and the girl threw her ball into the air. I wonder how we should kill them, she laughed menacingly. I can feel the power. I can feel the blood he gave me coursing through my veins. The other brought his hand to his face. And of course, we're going to be ruthless when we kill them. It moved back, showing the 4 in the room. Nezuko was kicking her feet up and down as she lay next to her brother. Tanjiro sat across from Tamio. Nezuko looks so cute, Zenitsu murmured. I bet Tanjiro is going to have to kill those weak demons, Inosuke said. A way to make a demon turn human again? There is, Tameo said. Holy SHT, there is, Shinazugawa said. Really? Tanjiro shouted. Tanjiro gasped as he moved closer to Tameo. Please tell me how. You keep your distance from Lady Tameo, Yushiro threatened as he toppled Tanjiro over. Yushiro, Tameo said, annoyed. He moved back, sitting as if nothing happened. Stars were around him as he tried to defend himself. I'm sorry. I only threw him. I didn't hit him. Yushiro really needs to learn to be nicer to our guests. I know that he feels the need to protect me because I helped him. But sometimes he takes it a bit too far, Tameo thought. Neither is acceptable, Tameo said. Right, he responded. Aw man, that really hurts, Tanjiro said as he sat back up. Can you please tell me how? There's always some kind of medicine or aid. No matter the wound or ailment, I don't know how to turn a demon into a human yet. But there must be a way, Tameo said. So you don't know the way to turn a demon back, Tanjiro said sadly. Not yet. However, we are working on a cure. I'm sure that with Nezuko's blood I'll be able to make a cure, Tameo said. Tanjiro looked disappointed with Tameo's words. And I promise we are going to find it. We are dedicated to establishing such a treatment, Tameo continued. Toward that end, I'd like to ask you to do something for me. In order to discover a cure, the first step is studying the blood of several different demons, which means I have two favors to ask you. First, I'd like permission to study your sister's blood. Second, I need more samples. I'd like you to retrieve them from demons as closely related to Kibutsuji as possible. Nezuko's condition is extremely rare, perhaps entirely unique. I understand she was asleep for 2 straight years. I believe her body changed under that time. In most cases, that long without food, neither human flesh nor the blood of some kind of animal, any demon would undoubtedly grow violent. That's quite the task for a Mizunoto rank, Rengoku said. If that's what you need to make a cure, then I will gladly have my children help you, Yubayashiki said. When we go on break, we can make plans. That would be perfect, Tameo smiled. This isn't good. I need to make a plan to have all of them killed, Muzan thought. Lady Tameo is beautiful as ever. She'll be even more beautiful tomorrow, Yushiro thought. However, against all odds Nezuko is showing none of those signs. That miracle could be the key to finding a solution, Tameo said. Nezuko. Tanjiro looked at his sister and put his hand near her face. Nezuko made a noise before grabbing her brother's hand. She rubbed her face against it happily. Aw, look Aguro-san, Nezuko's being cute again, Kanroji said. She is, Aguro agreed. Please, you're only agreeing to please your crush, Shinazugawa thought. But my second request is not a simple one. When I say demons closely related to Kibutsuji, I mean demons with powers such as Kibutsuji himself. Extracting blood from that kind of demon won't be easy. What do you think? Are these requests acceptable if not pleasant? Tameo explained. Tanjiro looked at his sister before responding. If it's really the only way, then I'll do it. Besides, if you research all that blood and you can create this medicine, then it won't just be Nezuko, will it? A whole lot of other people will be saved too. You're so thoughtful, Tanjiro, Kacho said. Well, it's true, if Miss Tameo creates a cure then everyone will be saved, Tanjiro smiled. Tameo inhaled before smiling. Yes, they will. Blush came across Tanjiro's face. Yushiro stared him down. He fought the urge to annihilate. The screen moved to the outside, showing the piece of paper that was on the house, hiding it from the world. It got broken by one of the Temuri. Finally, the fight is going to start, Akaza sighed. I hope that everything goes well for you four, Yubayashiki said. If that stupid slayer didn't come with us, Lady Tameo wouldn't have been in harm's way, Yushiro thought. Get down, Yushiro yelled. Several of the Temuri came into the house. Yushiro ran over to Lady Tameo trying to protect her. The lights in the room went down, and everyone was surrounded by darkness. The Temuri went back into the demon's hands as she laughed. Did you decide how we'll kill them? The male demon asked as he laughed. The female demon threw the balls once more and laughed, ruthlessly. The female demon had orange and black hair, while the other had only black hair. They laughed at the destruction. Before the screen turned black, everyone was shown. Tanjiro was protecting Nezuko, while Yushiro was protecting Tameo. Tanjiro stood up, looked at Tamio and Yushiro and bowed before speaking. I'm sorry I led the demons to your hideout. I promise I will do my best to protect you. It's quite all right. Since this is in the future, I can change locations with Yushiro, Tamio said. Let's start the next viewing. I've been waiting for another fight for over an hour, Akaza groaned. Tanjiro sat down, and after a few minutes of quick bathroom breaks, the next episode began. Episode 9, Temari Demon and Arrow Demon. Just like the previous episodes, it gave a small recap of what happened last time. The house rumbled as the paper that hid the house fell off. The Temari woman caught her weapons easily. She laughed. Turns out you were right, Yahaba. This building just materialized out of nowhere. That's Suzumaru and Yahaba. They better not fail me or I'll kill them as soon as I get back, Muzan thought. Huh. The handiwork of someone using a blood demon art that can hide objects. What is this? We're tracking down a demon slayer. Is he with demons? Yahaba asked, his hand to his face. The Temari woman laughed as she bounced her balls. Isn't this fun? I have to say, Suzumaru, your way of doing things is so immature. Utterly careless. You splattered me. My kimono is covered in dust, Yahaba complained. She seems awfully childish, Kokushibo stated. I hope they can fulfill your mission. Stop complaining. Oh, stop whining. Who cares about dust? My Temari just uncovered their hiding place. And now the real fun begins, Suzumaru said as she threw her Temari. Her Temari broke more of the house. When it came back, she caught it effortlessly. Yahaba groaned at the mess. I'm really sorry about your house, Miss Tamio, Tanjiro said. It's fine. I'm more worried about you, seeing as how humans cannot regenerate limbs, Tamio said. Stop splattering me, he yelled at her. Stop being so uptight. Your kimono looks just fine to me. And look, she laughed. As the dust settled, Tanjiro could be seen protecting his sister. Suzumaru laughed at the sight. Come out wherever you are, she sang. A Temari? Throwing a Temari caused all this damage, Tanjiro thought as a piece of the house fell near him. I can't believe that a Temari could cause all that damage, Tanjiro said. That is why demons must be taken out swiftly and without mercy. To protect not only people, but housing and other things, Rengoku responded. That woman, did Kibutsuji send her? Yushiro wondered, as protected Tamio. Suzumaru laughed as she threw her Temari once more. The Temari bounced all over the walls, causing more damage. Tanjiro braced himself as he held onto his sister. A ball went towards Tamio and Yushiro. Yushiro stood up in an attempt to protect Tamio. Lady Tamio, he said. He gasped as the Temari changed trajectory. Rather than hitting Tamio, it changed direction and knocked Yushiro's head off. It went red as blood splattered everywhere. Yushiro, Tanjiro yelled. Shinazugawa rolled his eyes. He'll be fine. Demons can regenerate, remember. That might be true, but it's still sad that Yushiro got his head knocked off, Genroji said. Yushiro, Tanjiro screamed. Tamio caught Yushiro's body as he fell. Damn, Nezuko, the lady sleeping in the back room. Take her outside and get her to safety, Tanjiro said. Nezuko nodded before getting different directions from Tamio. It's too dangerous. We have a basement. Take her there, Tamio yelled over the sound of the house breaking. Isn't the basement where her demon husband is? Kocho asked. Yes, however, don't fret. Her husband will not be able to attack her, Tamio said. Good idea, Tanjiro said as he stood up and raised his sword. Nezuko. Nezuko grunted in affirmation before running off. Tanjiro faced the demons, his sword in front of him. Is Nezuko going to join the fight? I don't want her to get injured, Tanjiro muttered. 1 down, 3 to go, Suzumaru laughed. Her scent is different than any other demon I've ever met. It's stronger or thicker. It feels heavy inside my lungs, Tanjiro thought. That's weird. Does that mean that she's eaten more humans? Tanjiro asked. Most likely, Urokodaki answered. Suzumaru caught 2 of her Temari easily. She bounced them for a bit before talking. There's a demon slayer who wears Hanafuda earrings. That would be you, right? Suzumaru asked. Tanjiro gasped in thought. They're after me? If Lord Muzan is sending those low ranks, he might send us lower moons as well. How exciting, I wonder which one of us will kill him. Enmu wondered. Miss Tamio, I want you to go find a place to hide. These demons are after me, Tanjiro said. No, Tanjiro, you need to focus on the fight. Don't worry about us. We'll be just fine without your protection. We're demons too, Tamio said. It zoomed into her violet eye before she finished her statement. She has a point, Kamado. You need to focus on yourself. Seeing as how you're the only one there who can be killed easily, Rengoku said. Alrighty, it's all over for you, Suzumaru yelled as she threw her temari. It'll only swerve if I dodge it, Tanjiro thought as the temari flew his way. The fasting thrusting technique of the 10 forms. Total concentration, water breathing, 7th form, drop ripple thrust curve. As that move was used, little ripples appeared in the air. His sword went through the temari. That special effect is very flashy, Yusui commented. Shut up with the flashy stuff. No one cares, Shinazugawa said. Oh, you think you can soften the temari's blow by stabbing it like that? How cute, Suzumaru thought. The temari rattled against Tanjiro's sword. Tanjiro groaned as it began to move seemingly on its own. It flew off his sword, causing Tanjiro to groan once again. How is it moving like that? That shouldn't be possible, Kocho asked. Who knows? It's a blood demon art. It could have special properties, Rengoku suggested. How does it move like that? It did the same kind of weird swerve when it hit Yushiro too. She doesn't seem to be putting any spin on it though. So how? Tanjiro wondered as the scene with Yushiro's head getting knocked off played again. Damn Demon Slayer. If he wasn't here, my time with Lady Tama wouldn't have been interrupted, and my head wouldn't have gotten blown off, Yushiro thought. Yushiro, Yushiro, Tamio whispered. A squelching sound was heard while Yushiro began to regrow his head. First the muscle and then the skin over top. It was clear that he was trying to say something but couldn't until his mouth was formed. Tanjiro watched in disgust. That is so gross, Iguro commented. A few of the more squeamish people looked away, holding their lunch down. Muzan was impressed that Yushiro could grow his head back that quickly without humans. The other demons didn't care about Yushiro's state as much. Look at the blood. It's lovely, Enmu thought. Wait. Tamio, isn't that the fugitive that Muzan hates? Akaza wondered. Lady Tamio, I tried to tell you, didn't I? I said not to get involved with a demon slayer, and I was right. My concealment spell is still a work in progress. You should have known that just as well as I do. I may be able to conceal buildings, people, and their scent. But it's not like I can hide the fact they exist, Yushiro lectured as he continued regrowing his head. Tamio grunted in affirmation. The greater our numbers, the more traces we'll leave, and the greater chance that Kibutsuji will find us, Yushiro continued. Those demons got so close to us, but there was no scent until they attacked. Was that Yushiro's blood demon art? Tanjiro wondered. It went back to Yushiro, who was still growing his head. I hate anyone who gets in the way of the time I spend alone with you. I despise them. I loathe them with passion. It's unforgivable. God, he really is in love with her. It's so gross, Nakaim thought. Tamio giggled at Yushiro's comments. Yushiro blushed in embarrassment. Yushiro had blood on his shirt from earlier, and he regrew his hair effortlessly. That one's babbling now, Suzumaru laughed. She grabbed her kimono and pulled it down, revealing a black crop top underneath. Who's having fun? I know I sure am. You're about to be killed by one of the 12 Kazuki. Doesn't that make you feel special? Daki laughed. 12 Kazuki she wishes. Her power isn't even close to ours, and she's not even that pretty. Neither is that guy. Wait, what's the 12 Kazuki? Tanjiro asked. They're the demons directly under Kibutsuji. However, it's clear that she isn't one of them. Poor girl is delusional, Kocho said. 12 Kazuki, Tanjiro repeated. They're directly under Kibutsuji, Tamio informed. Suzumaru laughed again. Her flesh began to move around, and after a few seconds she grew 4 more arms. Why is she growing more arms? Zenitsu asked. He turned to Tanjiro. I'm sorry, comrade, but you're dead. I'll make sure to attend your funeral, though. Now let's not be pessimistic. I'm sure that Tanjiro can pull through, Yubayashiki said. That's a lot of arms, Tanjiro thought. A few of them burst out in laughter at Tanjiro's obvious observation. Don't laugh. Don't laugh, Mitsuri, Kenroji thought as she bit back a giggle. Don't laugh at me, I know it was obvious, Tanjiro said, hiding his face behind his hands. Each hand had a temari in it. They bounced in synchronization. Now then, let the games continue. Until morning comes, until you're all dead, she shouted as the temeri left her hands. Tanjiro winced as he attempted to dodge the temeri. Yushiro was back to protecting Tamio. He flinched when a ball scratched his cheek. If I were to cast my spell right now, it would affect Tanjiro as well. And Yushiro needs time to switch over to attack mode. But if this goes on, Tamio thought, the temeri swirled around the room, and one went straight for Tanjiro. It happened again. It changed directions even without hitting anything. If I cut them in half, it blunts the blow. But they still hit me anyway, Tanjiro thought. Tanjiro did acrobatics around the temeri. Before getting lost in thought again, 2 different scents of blood. There are 2 demons, and the scent tells me where they are. But I can't. The temeri went to Yushiro and Tamio, taking chunks out of their bodies as the screen turned red. Tamio-sama, Yushiro yelled at the sight of Tamio getting hurt. 2 demonic scents. How interesting, Kacho said. Do you think that the other demon is the one causing the temeri to move like that? Shinobu, Aoi asked. It's possible, Kocho said. Miss Tamio. Yushiro, no, Tanjiro yelled as he blocked 2 balls. There's no time to protect them, he thought. We'll heal ourselves soon enough. Don't worry about us, Tamio yelled. She lay on the floor. Hey, idiot demon slayer. The arrows will tell you which direction they're going. So dodge the arrows, Yushiro yelled as he clutched onto his head. Excuse me, what arrows are you talking about? Haimjima asked. Can't you see them? There are red arrows guiding the temeri, Tamio asked. What arrows? Tanjiro asked. Seriously, you're telling me you can't see them? I'm lending you my sense of sight. That should at least give you the chance to kill the temeri woman, Yushiro yelled. What? You can do that? Zenitsu yelled. Can you not yell? It's annoying, Yushiro said, and yes, I can share my sight. He grabbed a piece of paper and held it above his eye. The paper and his eye turned blue before he threw it at Tanjiro. The paper landed on Tanjiro's head and turned bright blue. Afterward, it showed a red pattern. Tanjiro's eyes glowed for a moment before he was able to see the bright red arrows. I see them now. She was using these arrows to control the temeri, Tanjiro thought. The arrows were moving the temeris all over the house. They all began to go to Tanjiro. That explains it. Thanks a lot, Yushiro. I can see the arrows, that helps, Tanjiro yelled as he dodged the temeri. Then hurry up and get rid of her, Yushiro yelled back. Nezuko appeared in the doorway ready to fight. Nezuko, let's go outside, Tanjiro said. Take care of the one in the tree. Finally, we're going to see them both in action again, Akaza sighed. I suppose this could be useful, Muzan muttered. Nezuko nodded. She ran outside, and the temeri and her brother followed. Suzumaru laughed as she caught all 6 temeri. Nezuko jumped up, going for the second demon. I'm the one you came here for, Tanjiro said. Suzumaru looked at Tanjiro's earrings. You are the demon slayer who wears Hanafuda earrings. I knew it. I'm going to take off that head of yours and bring it to him. This is so much fun. Prepare yourself, Tanjiro. This is a battle you will likely have in the future, Yubayashiki said. Right, Tanjiro said. All 6 of the temeris followed Tanjiro, the arrows guiding them. Tanjiro ran through the front yard and onto the side of the house. The balls followed, breaking the house as they continued their pursuit. Nezuko, hurry up, Tanjiro thought, struggling to not get hit. It went over to Nezuko, who was jumping through the trees. She found the other demon quickly and kicked him. However, he blocked. Despite this, she kicked him a few more times. This caused the arrows to disappear for a bit. Nezuko's so strong. She caused the arrows to disappear with just a simple kick, Kenroji said. Please be safe, Nezuko. I don't know what I'd do if you got hurt, Tanjiro thought. They're gone, Tanjiro thought happily. He began to perform his breathing technique. Water breathing, third form, flowing dance. Tanjiro moved his footing, slicing the temeri elegantly. Water poured out of his sword as he moved. Once he was near the end of his move, he went up to Suzumaru and cut off all of her arms effortlessly. He turned around and faced the house. You missed the head, Takedo said bluntly. I'm sure he has a plan, Kocho said. Miss Tamio, are these 2 closely related to Kibutsuji? Tanjiro shouted. Possibly, Tamio responded, still holding her head. That's what I thought. Looks like we found your first blood samples, Tanjiro yelled. His sword was behind his head. Don't let your guard down. They might not be 12 Kazuki, but they're stronger than the demons you fought before, Tomioka reminded Tanjiro. This is why nobody likes you, Tomioka. You never talk, Kacho smiled. I'm not disliked by people, Tomioka thought. One of Tanjiro's memories began to play from earlier that night, when Tamio was telling him her plan. Which means I have 2 favors to ask you. First, I'd like permission to study your sister's blood. Second, I need more samples. I'd like for you to retrieve them from demons as closely related to Kibutsuji as possible, Tamio said. The memory went further ahead. When I say demons closely related to Kibutsuji, I mean demons with powers such as Kibutsuji himself. Extracting blood from that kind of demon won't be easy. It went back to the present. Tanjiro moved his feet as it showed his move once again, ending with Suzumaru's arms cut off, and him shouting at Tamio. Suzumaru's arms began to disappear. The flesh crackled as it vanished. She cackled. You think that you'll be able to take blood from us? I'm not really sure what kinds of schemes you're up to, but there's no way that I'm gonna let you do anything that will displease him whatsoever. Her delusion is annoying. She holds no family bond, therefore she's useless. I want to find a way to take Tanjiro and Nezuko's bond, Rui thought. Tanjiro gasped as Suzumaru turned to him. If you want blood from the 12 Kazuki, then give it a shot. Let's see if you can, she challenged. Poor soul. She is delusional. Tanjiro, please end her pitiful life quickly, so she's put out of her misery, Heimjima requested. I can't tell who's going to win right now. I hate this. At least we'll see more about his copy child, Muzan thought. I'm fairly certain that the Slayer is going to win. Those twins said we're going to be here for over 40 days, so I doubt he's going to die, Nakaim thought. Ah, she has a point. I guess I'm going to send a real 12 Kazuki next time, Muzan thought. Watch your back. Don't let your guard down. If they really are some of the 12 Kazuki, don't underestimate them. They're more powerful than any demon you've faced before, Yushiro warned. Right, I understand. Keep my guard up. Watch my back. Be careful and breathe, Tanjiro repeated. Okay, here I go. Lady Tamio, let's escape while they're all distracted, Yushiro suggested. Tamio gasped. Yushiro, how could you suggest such a thing? I would never leave a person behind. It was a joke, I promise, Yushiro lied in defense. I still think we should have left them. Tamio looked horrified at the idea. Yushiro quickly lied. I'm just kidding, he lied. Meanwhile, it showed Nezuko running up to the demon and kicking it again. Stop stirring up so much dust. You're filthy, Yahaba yelled. As he said that, the eyes on his hands closed. Nezuko was sent away from him, carried by the arrow. With Tanjiro, he stood face to face with Suzumaru. She laughed as she regrew her arms effortlessly. Nezuko, Tanjiro yelled. For a low-rank demon, I suppose that her regeneration isn't too bad, Kacho said. That didn't take long. She can regenerate so fast. The demons during final selection were a lot slower than this, Tanjiro observed. He'll be so happy having your head as a trophy, Suzumaru said. Each hand held a temari. Hurry up, Manjiro. Behead those dumb demons, Inosuke said. Don't tell him what to do. We can't even see your face, weirdo, Zenitsu said. Sweat rolled down Tanjiro's cheeks. He gasped when he saw a shadow above him. When he turned, Nezuko fell on him. He called out her name as Yahaba landed on the ground. Good, you can both die together, Suzumaru said as she launched her temari. Tanjiro moved them out just in time. You all right, Nezuko? He asked. Hey, Demon Slayer, Yushiro yelled. We gonna need you to deal with the arrow guy first. Let the rest of us take care of the temari woman. That's a good idea, Yushiro, Tamio smiled. Yushiro got flustered. Thank you, Tamio-sama. Why is Mr. Violent over there getting a wife before me? And he can't die. That's not fair, Zenitsu thought. Understood, Tanjiro shouted. He looked at Nezuko and said, Nezuko, don't push yourself too hard. Nezuko grunted. Tamio exited the house, still holding her head. Nezuko saw Yushiro and Tamio as her mother and youngest brother. Her pupils turned to slits as her and Tanjiro stood up. Go get her, Tanjiro said as they ran in different directions. All right, time to go get those blood samples. I'll fight any demon I have to, if it means the medicine will be finished even 1 minute sooner. And I'll beat them all. Everything went black for a moment, before getting lit by the sight of the thread. It rang, pulling straight at Yahaba's neck. That was quick, Aoi said. That seems too easy though, don't you think? Genya said. Got it. The opening thread, Tanjiro thought, his sword ready to go down. What a grimy little urchin you are, Yahaba scoffed, the eye on his hand closed. Don't come anywhere near me. At that moment, the thread snapped in the reflection of Tanjiro's eye. It snapped. You're a dead man, Tanjiro, Zenitsu yelled as he grabbed Tanjiro's Haori. Don't say such eerie things, Blondie. You're gonna make Tanjiro doubt his abilities, I always said. What the? It snapped, he thought. Just then an arrow moved under his feet, causing him to slip. His sword went down further ahead, so it didn't even touch Yahaba. The arrow carried Tanjiro around the yard. His back went against the tree as Yahaba's hand eye closed again. He got thrown around the place. That hurts. I mean, that really hurts, Tanjiro thought. I believe in you, Tanjiro, Kanroji said. That's an annoying blood demon art, Iguro said as he death stared Tanjiro. I think that he's gonna kill me before those demons do. Tanjiro gulped. Yahaba closed his hand eye, causing Tanjiro to continually get thrown around. He got launched into the sky, above the house. Tanjiro screamed. Just then the arrow vanished, leaving Tanjiro in the sky. I need a move. I gotta do something to blunt the attack. 8th form, waterfall basin, Tanjiro thought as he fell from the sky. As he used his move, the blue water began falling with him. He breathed heavily. With Nezuko and the others, Suzumaru was throwing her temeri. Nezuko avoided them. Yushiro began to run up to Suzumaru, before going invisible. You can go invisible too. Is there anything you can't do? Zenitsu said. Where is he? She asked. An outline of Yushiro was shown, as he continued his pursuit. He punched Suzumaru several times. She fell to the ground as Yushiro reappeared. That's odd. I know that when I go invisible there isn't an outline, Yushiro said. I'll answer that. We added that outline, so it was easier to follow where you were. So, in the future, it isn't there, but it's there now to help. Does that make sense? Shira explained. Yeah, that makes sense, Yushiro said. Lady Tamio is in pain because of you. I can't forgive that, Yushiro yelled. Tamio? Suzumaru, can you believe our luck? We found Tamio, the fugitive. She'll make quite a souvenir, Yahaba said. Shit, I just revealed Lady Tamio to the intruders. I'm so stupid, Yushiro thought. Yes, she will, she agreed, before releasing her temeri once more. Nezuko ran before turning around, preparing to kick the temeri. Don't, Yushiro shouted. You can't kick them, Tamio yelled. However, it was too late. Nezuko was already about to kick the approaching ball. It moved in slow motion for a moment before the ball and her leg made contact. The temeri caused her lower leg to get flung off like a rag doll. Suzumaru laughed before running up to Nezuko and kicking her back into the house. Tanjiro screamed out Nezuko's name as she fell to the ground on screen. He held onto Nezuko tighter. She was sleeping soundly. A few of the newer Slayers looked at the screen, imagining themselves in Nezuko's place. Honestly, this really is too much fun. Are we playing kickball? Yahaba, you think 4 heads will be enough for us to take home? Suzumaru said. Too many. We only need 2. Demon Slayer and the fugitive. We have no use for the others, Yabaha said. Tanjiro gasped at Yahaba's statement. It went back to the demons. Tamio was preparing to inject a serum into Nezuko. Oh no. The bleeding isn't stopping. She recovers slowly, Tamio thought. She held up a needle. Take this medicine. It'll help your leg heal faster. Tamio changed in Nezuko's eyes, seeing her beloved mother instead. Nezuko sighed as Tamio injected her. It went back to Tanjiro and Yahaba. Tanjiro, I thought the hypnosis only worked on humans. Why does Nezuko see me as her mother? Tamio asked. I'm not sure. My only guess is that she sees you two as humans, Tanjiro said. Tamio began tearing up. She wiped her tears quickly, hiding her emotions. Many of the other demons rolled their eyes at the sentiment. They wanted to see the supposed special demon slayer fight. What do I do? I can't lose this fight. But even if I can see the opening thread, hitting him won't be easy. Any move is pointless unless I can hit his opening. I'm gonna need pinpoint precision. If I'm the slightest bit off, the move's not going to be powerful enough. But the problem is his arrows can change the sword's direction. And what's with the eyeballs on his hands? They're really creeping me out. So weird, Tanjiro contemplated. I agree, those eyes are so creepy, Tenroji said. In that moment Yahaba closed the eyes on his hands. A purple sparkle was shown. He laughed as 7 arrows headed for Tanjiro. Tanjiro dodged the arrows, doing flips over them. These things are so fast. It doesn't look like they'll go away until they hit me. And my sword won't do anything to them. As soon as the blade touches it, the arrow carries me away again, Tanjiro thought. He tried to slice the arrow, but all it did was bend. The arrow went into the sky and threw Tanjiro against the brick wall. He groaned as his back hit the wall. His sword fell out of his hands. Oh, that looked painful, Tanjiro said. Demon slayers are constantly getting injured. Pain is temporary, lives are not, so we must move forward no matter what, Rengoku said. His father rolled his eyes at Kyojiro's statement. What can I do? He wondered. The arrow carried him up when the eye closed. Yahaba chuckled as he sent an arrow to Tanjiro. It wrapped around his arm tightly. It's all going as I planned. I'll be taking that arm, Yahaba said. The arrow tightened around Tanjiro's arm more. He groaned before running up a tree. He did a flip, with enough momentum to spin the arrow off. Once it was loosened, he pulled his arm out and landed on the ground, picking up his sword after. That was really smart, Kanao said after flipping her coin. I agree, you managed to take the arrow off your arm, while still remaining calm, Kocho said. Clever of you to spin the same direction as the Koksu arrow. Damn monkey, Yahaba scowled. I can't take a whole lot more of these attacks. I gotta get to him. Somehow I need to change the directions of the arrows without touching them, Tanjiro thought. Time for you to die, Yahaba yelled. Both eyes on his hands closed, causing several arrows to go Tanjiro's way. I'll adapt my moves. First the 6th form to envelop the arrow. Then I'll use the footwork of the 3rd form and close in on him. Tanjiro thought of recalling the use of the forms. You're very good at adapting in battle, Tanjiro, Yubayashiki said. I agree. You've only been battling for a few minutes and you already have an entire plan, Aoi said. Tanjiro ran head-on to Yahaba, avoiding the arrows, making them follow him. He stopped preparing to strike. Twist, envelope, twisting whirlpool, flowing water, he thought. Water from the sword seemed to move the arrows. Yahaba was furious at the sight of Tanjiro's move. He closed his eyes trying to make the arrows move away. My sword is so heavy, but I've got this. 2nd form improved. Lateral water wheel, Tanjiro thought. You can do it, Tanjiro, several voices said. The water moved with Tanjiro as Yahaba got beheaded. The beads around his neck dispersed when they were cut. The screen went red as blood flew from his neck. Tanjiro looked angry as he brought down his sword. Then the screen faded to black. Several voices cheered at Tanjiro's victory. Even Tanjiro was proud of himself. Many of the 12 Kazuki rolled their eyes at the Slayer's victory. Remember, it's not over yet. The Temari woman is still alive, Yubayashiki reminded them all. I'll do my best to help Nezuko and Yushiro, Tanjiro smiled. Let's continue then, Shiro said as she pressed the play button. Episode 10 Together Forever. Like the time before, it gave a recap of what happened last time, ending with Yahaba's head being severed. The title was shown. Of course he was useless. What did I expect? Muzan thought. Tanjiro was above Yahaba. The ring of water was around Tanjiro. Yahaba's body fell to the ground, as did the beads. Tanjiro didn't land smoothly. He landed on his stomach, groaning at the impact. I hope you didn't break anything with that fall, Tomioka said. After all, you still have to kill the Temari woman. I don't think I did. I'm just glad that I didn't die, Tanjiro said. I did it. The whirlpool isn't as strong when it's not underwater. But I used his attack to gain power and envelope the arrows, Tanjiro thought. Yahaba's head fell in front of Tanjiro. A trail of blood followed it. You damn brat. How could you do this to me? I just needed to bring him your head. That's all it would have taken to win his approval. I'll never forgive you. I'll make sure you pay for what you've done to me. My face is filthy because of you shoving me into the dirt. I swear I'll bring you done with me, Yahaba screamed. Wait, why isn't he disintegrating? You cut off his head, right? Zenitsu asked. He is disintegrating, just slower. I think it's probably because he's consumed more humans, Tanjiro said. I'm more concerned with the fact that he said he's going to take you down with him, Amane said. Yahaba closed the eyes on his hands. They didn't match the eyeball that was hanging out of his socket, though. Several arrows were seen going through Tanjiro's torso. What's going on? I know that I decapitated him. How is he still attacking me? Tanjiro asked. What is he planning on doing with those arrows? Aoi asked. Oh no, he's got me, Tanjiro thought. The arrows carried him away. This force is stronger than any of the arrows he's hit me with before. I have to defend myself with every move I've got or my body will be smashed. Fourth form, striking tide, he called out, before he hit the wall. He didn't get a chance to rest on the ground. An arrow pulled him up into the sky once more. How unflashy. That demon should just accept death and die, Yusui said. My body's under so much pressure. I can't swing my sword. Do something. Make a move. Don't get beaten. Not here. Second form. Water wheel. He used the move. The water from his sword formed a ring around him. He yelled as another arrow appeared. This one was dragging him to the ground quickly. He called out Waterfall Basin to break his fall. Before getting thrown into the air again, it showed Tanjiro performing several water-breathing forms to break his fall. You can do this, Tanjiro. Just breathe, Urokodaki muttered. Maybe they aren't failures. Perhaps he'll die from falling or injury, Muzan hoped. I've never used so many moves in a row before. It feels like my arms are gonna get ripped off, Tanjiro thought. Yahaba was disintegrating slowly as he said, You haven't suffered enough. I'm not done. Not just yet. Your pain will be excruciating. I really hope that my future self is going to be all right. I don't want to be killed, Tanjiro said. Tanjiro was performing more moves as the arrows carried him around in the air. Little water details were shown too. How long will this go on? When will it end? Tanjiro wondered as he continued using moves. Don't think about it. Just keep fighting back. Don't stop. Still not enough. Not yet. I still haven't, he tried to say. Before he could finish his sentence, he disintegrated completely. All of the arrows vanished too, causing Tanjiro to fall out of the sky. He landed on his back, his sword out of his hand. He started to hyperventilate. Then the paper that Yushiro gave Tanjiro fell off his forehead. Tanjiro sighed. At least I'm not dead. What a shame. Those lower-class demons couldn't even do a basic task, Dama thought. Nezuko, Miss Tame, Yushiro, Tanjiro said as he sat up. I cracked my rib and broke my leg. It's no use. I'm so exhausted I can't even grip my sword. I gotta go. I gotta get over there. There's one more demon left. Hang on, I'm coming. I'll be there soon. Just hang on. I'm coming. Stay safe, Tanjiro thought. He grabbed his sword with his mouth and crawled over. You broke your leg and your rib. What if you get sent to another mission? How will you protect anyone? Zenitsu asked. Don't worry, I won't in the future. I won't send Tanjiro on a mission right away, Yubayasaki said. How are you still moving? Genya asked. Adrenaline, probably, Tanjiro chuckled. I think that if you can move you can slay demons, Takedo muttered. With the others, Suzumaru was continuing to bounce her temeri. She bounced them harder, causing dust to form a cloud. Yushiro gasped as he dodged the temeri. What a fool, avoiding a bunch of linear attacks like these is child's play. Finding you will be easy too, Yushiro scoffed as he turned invisible again. Suzumaru grinned evilly. She began thinking. And finding you will be a piece of cake. You may be good at that concealment spell, but I know right where you are. She's so annoying, Yushiro commented. She should let you kill her to end her pitiful life, Haimjima said. She threw her temeri at Yushiro. Yushiro gasped as the temeri approached his face. However, before it could hit him, Nezuko stopped it with her foot. Nezuko, she's all right, Tanjiro said. Tameo looked at the demon girl who was cuddling with Tanjiro. Thank you for protecting Yushiro, she thought. Suzumaru laughed again. Now's when the real fun starts. Don't do that. You can't be reckless just because you're immortal, Yushiro lectured. As Nezuko looked at Yushiro, she only saw her brother Rokita. Rokita, we miss you, Tanjiro thought. What is it? Yushiro asked. Nezuko started rubbing Yushiro's head happily. Ah, she's so adorable. She reminds me of my younger sister, Kenroji cooed. This demon girl needs to be dealt with. If she's that powerful without blood right now, Who knows how powerful she could get in the future? Kokushibo thought. What are you? Watch out, Yushiro said. One of the Temeris began to head their way. Nezuko kicked it back a bit. Susumaru laughed as she sent out another one. Nezuko kicked that one as well. It was shown in 3 different angles. Amazing, Yushiro thought. Tameo came out of the house. Lady Tameo, Yushiro said. Both of the demons watched as Nezuko kicked the Temeri so hard that it went into Suzumaru's hand and spun. She gasped at what happened to her Temeri. Santaro, I want to fight the demon kid. She looks like a worthy opponent, Inosuke said. I'd prefer it if you didn't fight Nezuko. Also, my name isn't Santaro, it's Tanjiro, Tanjiro said. That's what I said, Inosuke said. TCH, you little brat, you think you're tough. Just because you figured out how to kick my Temeri back at me, don't be so arrogant, she thought. She dropped her Temeri on the ground and kicked it at Nezuko. Nezuko kicked it back easily. The ball went back and forth several times. Each time the kick got more powerful. For a demon who was turned recently, she's not bad. If I fought women, I'd fight her, Akaza thought. Damn you brat, Suzumaru said. But how? Lady Tameo, what did you do to her? Yushiro asked. I just gave her a healing serum made specifically for demons. But all it did was heal her. It has no effect on her physical strength. We're witnessing Nezuko's power, without even a drop of human blood. This is all her. She's rapidly gaining strength, Tameo said. I know I shouldn't be impressed anymore, but what the hell? How does she have all that strength without eating anyone? Iguro asked. From sleeping, I suppose, though that's such a bizarre way. Demons don't need sleep, Kacho said. As they talked, Nezuko was holding the Temeri back with her foot. By the time that Tameo was finished speaking, she kicked the ball back at Suzumaru. Suzumaru moved her head just in time, causing the Temeri to break the brick wall behind her instead. But her opponent is formidable. If she gave it her all, Nezuko wouldn't stand a chance. She needs help. Let's see what I can do, Tameo thought as she pulled back her sleeve. Are you going to join the fight, Miss Tameo? Tanjiro asked. It seems like I am. I have an idea of what I'm going to do. So if you are squeamish, I'd advise not watching, Tameo said. Please, as if what she's going to do is going to affect demon slayers and demons, Shinazugawa thought. Aren't you an amusing little girl? Looks like I'm gonna have to give this everything I've got, she cackled. Several Temeri appeared in her hands as she spoke. I'm curious to see how long you can hold out. Nezuko growled at Suzumaru. Tameo then stepped forward. If you're a 12 Kazuki, then I have a question, Tameo said. Get out of the way. Move it, you damn fugitive, Suzumaru said. One question, that's all I'm asking. Do you have any idea who Kibutsuji really is? Tameo asked. I'm sorry, what are you planning on achieving by talking to the demon? Kacho asked. Yubayashiki spoke up. You're trying to get her to say Kibutsuji's name, aren't you? That is correct. I'm trying to get her to trigger the curse, Tameo informed. So she's going down that path to kill her, Muzan thought. Fear struck Suzumaru's face before she spoke. What the hell are you saying? He's a coward, surely you've realized that. He's in a constant state of fear, Tameo said calmly. How flashy of you to call the Demon King a coward, Yusui said. How dare you? Damn you! Shut up, Suzumaru yelled. Do you want to know why no demons can ever group together? Or why they cannibalize each other? Because he doesn't want us to group up. His fear is that we would attack him if we could. He manipulates demons to behave. Demons like you, Tameo said. This fugitive is the delusional one. Lord Muzan isn't a coward. Sure, we don't group up, but he's the strongest demon. It's not like we could beat him, Daki thought. Don't you dare, don't say that, shut up. He has no reason to be so petty, Suzumaru yelled. Yushiro gasped slightly in realization. Of course, Lady Tameo is casting a spell. Blood was falling down her hidden arm as the spell continued working on Suzumaru. You can't comprehend the power he wields. No one is stronger than him. Not Lord Kibutsuji, Suzumaru screamed, but it was too late. What a shame, that lower-class demon dying to the curse, Dalma sighed. The spell was visible behind Tameo now. Suzumaru dropped 2 of her Temeri in realization of what she had done. She brought her hands to her mouth, but it was too late. The words had already been muttered. Fear filled her face. You forget you couldn't say his name, didn't you? You just triggered the curse, Tamio said. Blood covered her arm as the spell particles flowed in the air. Magical aroma of daylight. It weakens the target's brain functions, making it impossible for them to lie or keep secrets, Yushiro said. That's quite useful, Miss Tamio, Rengoku said. Thank you, she responded. Suzumaru squeaked in fear. Nezuko began to fall asleep at the smell of the spell. Yushiro looked back at Tamio. And it's so potent, Lady Tamio, Yushiro thought. I feel sorry for you, but farewell now, Tamio said. Suzumaru began to run away screaming. Her hands were in the air as she pleaded for her life. Her sclere began to turn red and her skin turned darker. Suzumaru dropped her temari and it rolled to Tanjiro, who wasn't far away. Fear was on Tanjiro's face as he witnessed what was happening. Oh my god, what's going to happen? The last time someone's skin turned darker, they turned into a puddle of blood and flesh, Kenroji said. The intercom turned on as the screen paused. If anyone in here is very squeamish, I'd advise you to look away. Dying to the Kibutsuji curse isn't a pleasant sight. This is your last warning. Suzumaru was hunched over in pain. She screamed as 3 bloody arms emerged from her body. 2 from her torso and 1 from her mouth. Tanjiro lay in fear, while Tamio just looked away. Yushiro also had fear plastered on his face as he saw what was happening to Suzumaru. Blood fell onto the ground and stained her white socks. She whimpered and sobbed as the hand from her mouth wrapped around her head and crushed it like a watermelon. Several of the demon slayers who thought they could handle it were quickly proven wrong. Fear and disgust covered their faces as their eyes were glued on the gruesome sight in fear. A few people could be heard gagging at the bloody scene. Oh my god, that's way worse than I thought it would be, Hinetsuru commented. I think I'm gonna be sick, Makio said. Several of the newer slayers looked horrified at the screen. Hands were over their mouths in disgust. Even a few of the demons looked scared. What a bloody death. This is the power of our lord, Hantingu whimpered. Tanjiro dropped his sword and gasped. The crescent moon lit up everyone's face. It was lucky that Nezuko had fallen asleep so she didn't have to witness the gruesome scent. The sound of blood and body crushing was heard. The moon then transitioned into Suzumaru's yellow eye. Her hand twitched as Tamio looked at her. At least we get a break after this, Amane said after she checked in on her kids. What a brutal death. May her soul rest, Haimjima said. Even though she's a demon, she didn't deserve that, Tanjiro said. Is it all over? Is she dead? Tanjiro asked, still traumatized on the ground. She will be momentarily. Kibutsuji's curse, the cells he left in her body will destroy it. She will be ripped apart from the inside. Generally speaking, battles between demons are futile. It's pointless. The wounds they inflict on each other can't be fatal. Only sunlight or the sword of a demon slayer can kill them. Except for Kibutsuji, he's the only one who can destroy a demon's cells, Tamio informed Tanjiro. Tanjiro used his sword to prop him up a bit to listen to Tamio better. Yushiro ran up to Tanjiro quickly holding a cloth. He shoved it into Tanjiro's face. You can't inhale Lady Tamio's spell. The human's body can't take it. You got that, Yushiro said. Thank you for protecting Tanjiro, Yushiro, Tamio smiled. Of course, Yushiro said. Tanjiro, the demon we fought. She's not one of the 12 Kazuki. The 12 Kazuki all have numbers engraved on their eyeballs, but she doesn't have one. Which means that the other demon mostly doesn't either. They were too weak, Tamio said. I now know that they aren't a part of the 12 Kazuki, but they were stronger than I thought they'd be, Tanjiro sighed. If you think that they were strong, then you should leave the demon corps, Takedo said. Muakairo-kun, don't say that, Haimjima said. Takedo looked at Haimjima. Why? The demons are only going to get stronger, so if he can barely kill those demons, then he's destined for death. I guess I'll just have to train more, Tanjiro smiled at Takedo. Huh, too weak, really, Tanjiro said. Don't question her. Lady Tamio's never wrong. Pathetic, that demon was incredibly stupid. She thought she could get away with hurting Lady Tamio. She deserved what happened to her, Yushiro said. Tamio brought a syringe to Suzumaru's arm, collecting blood from it. With any luck, this blood will still be instrumental for us in developing a cure, Tamio said. She put the blood into a box and stood up. Now I need to take care of Nezuko. She was already medicated, and she inhaled my spell, for which I'm deeply sorry. All right, don't move a muscle. You're on your own now. I won't leave Lady Tameo's side. Not for a second, Yushiro said, running after Tameo. Yushiro, you shouldn't have abandoned him, Tameo said. Sorry, Lady Tameo, Yushiro said. This is boring, Jayako thought. Maorai, Suzumaru whispered. Mary, Mary. Ignoring Yushiro's demands, he stood up. Using his sword as a walking stick, he went to the temeri, bringing it to Suzumaru's bloody body. Yushiro glared at Tanjiro. I thought I said not to move. My future self felt like bringing her temeri to her was the right thing. Currently, I agree with myself's actions, Tanjiro said. Here's your temeri, he said gently. Play with me, she whispered. Play with me. Poor Suzumaru, she sounds like a child, Tanjiro murmured. You actually brought her temeri to her. You're a good kid, Tanjiro, Yubayashiki said. Why doesn't he hate demons? I don't understand. They killed his family. How can he have empathy for them? Kacho wondered. You probably murdered dozens, but inside you're just a little kid, Tanjiro thought. The sun started to rise, burning what remained of Suzumaru's corpse. You thought you were one of the 12 Kazuki, deceived, forced to fight. And now, it's Kibutsuji's curse that killed you. No salvation. Once you die, not even your bones remain. Is this the price you pay for killing people? He thought. Several characters wondered similar thoughts. They wondered how could this child who's been through so much have empathy for ruthless killing machines? It was a mystery that both humans and demons were wrapped up in. Tanjiro removed the cloth from his face, his eyes shaking in sadness. But when he thought of Kibutsuji, an image of him appeared. As Tanjiro thought, it went closer to his blood-red eye. Kibutsuji. Even the people who follow him get treated this way. He truly is a demon, Tanjiro thought. This damn kid. I could wipe him out easily. How dare he talk about our Lord like that? Akaza thought. The white leaves on the trees fit the morning sunrise. Tanjiro walked into the broken house. Miss Tameo. Hey, Yushiro, Tanjiro called out. We're over here, Yushiro yelled. Tanjiro looked around trying to find where Yushiro's voice was coming from. You really don't need to come down, but if you want to hurry it up, Yushiro said. Yushiro, Tameo scowled. Just kidding, Yushiro deflected. It's all right, come on down, Tanjiro, Tameo said. Oh, okay, Tanjiro said. He began descending the stairs. When he got down, he gasped, calling out Nezuko's name as she ran and hugged him. Oh, look at her, Lord Tenjin. She's so adorable, Suma said. I suppose, though she could be flashier, he responded. I'm glad your sister is all right, Yubayashiki said. I'm also happy that she has proved herself once again. I'm happy she's all right too. I don't know what I would have done if she got hurt, Tanjiro said. I thought it best to get her down to the basement before daybreak. The sunlight won't reach us here, Tameo said. Huh, Nezuko, Tanjiro said. Nezuko ran back to Tameo and Yushiro. She embraced Tameo. Yushiro tried not to say anything, but he failed. What are you doing? Step away from Lady Tameo. That's so rude, Yushiro yelled. Yushiro, you really need to calm down, Tameo said. Calm down, Yushiro. I don't mind at all, Tameo said. The background turned blue as Yushiro responded, right. Stars were around his head as he thought. You're so kind, Lady Tameo. Too beautiful to believe. Nezuko took on arm and began rubbing Yushiro's head. Wah. No, stop, Yushiro said. It's a bit strange. She's been acting like this ever since she woke up. I wonder if she's all right, Tameo said. She does seem rather affectionate, Kacho said. I wonder if that's an effect of your spell, Miss Tameo. No, it isn't, which is why I'm concerned, Tameo said. Nezuko kicked her legs up and down as she looked at the screen, seeing pretty people on it. Tanjiro walked up to the demons. There's nothing to worry about. She's just fine. If I were to make a guess, I'd say she thinks of you both as family. Knock it off, Yushiro said, trying to move Nezuko's hand. Us as family. But wait, I thought the spell Nezuko was under only made her see humans as her family, and Yushiro and I are demons, Tameo said. I said stop, Yushiro said to Nezuko. Not to Nezuko, you two are as human as anyone to her. She wanted to protect you, Tanjiro smiled. How interesting. She sees them as family and wants to protect them. A bond between life and death. I want it. As soon as we get out, I'm making her my little sister, Rui thought. How mushy. It's gross. Where's the blood? Jayako thought. Nezuko stopped messing with Yushiro and embraced Tamao again. Yushiro tried to not yell at her again. Tamao gasped at Tanjiro's words. You know, I didn't like the idea of that spell at first. But she still seems to have a will of her own. So, Tanjiro said. Tears began to fall out of Tamao's eyes. Tanjiro began freaking out. Ah, I'm so sorry. Nezuko, stop it. Get away from her. You're being very rude, Tanjiro yelled. Thank you so much, Nezuko, Tamao cried into Nezuko's shoulder. Miss Tamao, if you don't mind my asking, why are you crying? Tanjiro asked. Well, she reminds me of my child. I never wanted to be a demon, Tamao responded. Yushiro looked at Tamao as she cried. He began to reminisce about how he got turned. There is a way to keep you alive if you want. However, it will cost you your humanity. If I don't do it, you will indeed succumb to your illness. But beware, if you lose your humanity, it will cost you pain as well. So tell me, do you still wish to live? Tamao asked. That's what you looked like, Zenitsu said. Yes, though I don't appreciate these memories being played for everyone to see, Yushiro scowled. As Tamao spoke, an image of them in the past grew brighter. Yushiro had black hair, and he was very pale. Tamao still wore her flowery kimono and white apron. The image faded from Yushiro's mind. Yushiro and I will be leaving this region, Tamao said. Yushiro broke from his memories. We're too close to Kibutsuji now. It's far too risky to stay here. We need a new place to hide. Besides, I think I've hidden my identity, but after treating so many humans, I'm sure some of them figured out I'm a demon. Children and the elderly are especially perceptive. So Tanjiro, Tamao said. Can children really tell that you're a demon? Kacho asked. I'm sure that some of them have doubts that I'm human. But none of them have directly told me that I'm a demon, Tamao informed. Yes, he responded. To protect Nezuko, would you like us to take her with us when we go? Tamao asked. Although I say this in the future, I could take Nezuko when we leave. If not, that is fine too, Tamao said. Tanjiro's eyes widened at Tamao's request. He began thinking about it. Yushiro's eyes widened at Tamao's question, as did Tanjiro's. Yushiro shook his head at Tanjiro. Obviously, I can't promise her safety, but I believe she'll suffer less danger than she will in battle, Tamao added. She might be right. With them wherever they end up, Nezuko would be safer, Tanjiro thought. Are you really going to have them take care of your sister? Genya asked. Mew, don't let them take Nezuko-chan, Zenitsu cried. Nezuko grabbed his hand, and Tanjiro's eyes widened at the gesture. He looked at Nezuko and smiled. Tanjiro watched the gesture, confident in his answer. No thank you, I don't want me and Nezuko to be apart. Not again. Miss Tamao, thank you for your concern. But Nezuko's staying with me. Nothing's going to break us apart, Tanjiro said. An image of Tanjiro's deceased family as shown as he thought. No, never again. Yes, I understand. Well, I wish you good fortune then, Tamao said. All right, we will be leaving as soon as we cover our tracks. You should get moving as well, Yushiro said, his arms crossed, and he wasn't looking at them. Do you have another place to stay? Tanjiro asked. I have a few in different cities and towns, so don't worry. I'm just glad you're all right, Tamao said. I suppose that's another thing I have to send the moons to find, Muzan thought. Right, and good luck. Thank you for everything you've done for us, Tanjiro said, bowing to the demons. Let's go, Nezuko. Nezuko ran off quickly. Tanjiro called for her. That doesn't mean you need to run, Tanjiro shouted. Your sister is adorable, Tanjiro, Suma said. Ah, thank you, Tanjiro said. Tanjiro, Yushiro called before Tanjiro left. Your little sister, I guess she is a beauty. Tanjiro looked at Yushiro and smiled. Yushiro looked away and crossed his arms, blushing in embarrassment. Tanjiro smiled and laughed at Yushiro's comment. It faded into the blue sky. Tanjiro's crow was circling the area. South-southeast, south-southeast, south-southeast. The next place you need to go is south-southeast, Tanjiro's crow cawed. Wait, are you kidding me? I have another mission already, Tanjiro exclaimed. You don't even get a break. This is why we're going to die, young Tanjiro, Zenitsu said. I heard you. You don't have to keep squawking it at me, okay? Tanjiro said. The crow got close to him, continuing its cries. I'm begging you, I got the message, so be quiet. They got interrupted by someone crying. Tanjiro looked over and saw a boy with yellow hair and a yellow haori begging a woman. Wait, is that you, Zenitsu? Tanjiro asked. What are you doing to that woman? Please, 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 marry me, he cried. You know I could die any day now. Marry me so I don't die alone. Marry me, I'm begging you, please. Zenitsu, you shouldn't be begging for a woman to marry you. That's so rude, Tanjiro said. I'm sorry, Tanjiro. I don't want to die alone, Zenitsu responded. That's really pathetic, Akaza thought. What is he doing? Tanjiro asked. What on earth? The screen then faded to black. You need to learn to leave girls alone, Aoi said. Look, it's not my fault. I don't want to die alone, Zenitsu explained. That is the end for now. Your break has started. To the right down the hallway are the bathrooms, dining hall, kitchen, and bedrooms. To the left is a library. Feel free to get up and look around. No fighting is allowed. If we see any fighting, then punishments will be given. Enjoy your break, Shiro said. Break time, After the announcement Shiro gave, everyone began to get up. The twins exited the recording room and locked the door behind them. Several of the Hashiras started stretching. It had been a while since they had the chance to relax for that long. Hey Snowflake, when are we getting our swords back? Shinazugawa asked. As long as you are all in here, your weapons will be in our recording studio. For everyone's safety, Shiro responded. According to our clocks, it is 6 p.m. Selena and Elliot should be coming over to make food soon, Shiro said. Who's Selena and Elliot? Their names don't sound Japanese, Kocho asked. Selena is the one who created us. She is a close friend of the creator as well, Shiro explained. Also in the room next to the library is a studio. There are art supplies and musical instruments if anyone's interested. Thank you for your hospitality, Yubayashiki said. Tamio and Yushiro walked over to where the Yubayashiki family was. Shiro directed them to the bedrooms, where they could talk in private. A few of the Hashiras followed them as a protective measure. Meanwhile, Muzan and his troops went to the library for a necessary meeting. The Kamaboko squad stayed on their futons. Sanjuro joined them too. The Hashiras that didn't go with Yubayashiki stayed in the main room with the Kamaboko squad and the twins. Kacho was one of them. She walked up to the twins and began interrogating them. If I remember correctly, you both said that you weren't demons. However, that only fills me with more questions, Kacho said. We can try and answer some of your questions if that will help you sleep better tonight, Shiro said. While Kacho was getting a few questions answered, the Kamaboko squad sat in a circle talking to each other. Wow, Tanjiro, you're so cool, Zenitsu said. Do you think that we're going to go on a mission together? I think so. I think everyone here should introduce themselves, Tanjiro said. I'll go first, I suppose, Sanjuro smiled. Everyone in the group began introducing themselves. Inosuke was the last one. Zenitsu looked at him unamused. Take off that stupid boar head, Inosuke, Zenitsu demanded. Inosuke took off the boar head and said, There is that good. Everyone stared at Inosuke's feminine face in shock. Zenitsu began screaming, asking why his face looked like that. Tanjiro tried to calm Zenitsu down. Nezuko perked up at the commotion and stared at the group. Meanwhile, with the rest of the humans, a meeting was being held. I'm so happy that I can see all of my wonderful children again. Now let's start this meeting. I'm unsure how long our break is going to be, so let's make this quick, Yubayashiki said. I know that my future requests were a bit much for a Mizunoto rank, so having all of the Hashiras helping as well. I truly believe that the cure can be found quicker, Tamo smiled. I'm sure that all of us Hashiras are happy to help you, Rengoku said. I wonder what I'm going to do if there are no demons to kill. Takedo wondered. In the library with the demons, the 12 Kazuki were getting yelled at by a furious Muzan. He paced back and forth, throwing books at the demons. I need all of those people destroyed as soon as possible, Muzan yelled. If I watch any of you get killed by the Slayers, I will personally kill you then and there. Do you understand? All of the moons bowed and shouted yes. Muzan continued his rant, not letting any of them say a word. Around 10 minutes later, a knocking was heard from the door down the left hallway. I'm deeply sorry, Kacho-san, but I must go open the door, Shiro said. Shiro walked to the door and opened it. A girl with black hair and blue eyes walked in. She wore a gray t-shirt and goggles on her head. Shiro bowed at the girl as she walked in carrying several bags full of food. She chuckled. "Shiro, I thought I told you. You don't need to bow to me." "I apologize." "Where's Elliot, Selena?" Sadly, Elliot has to work extra hours tonight, so they couldn't make it. Kacho and Tomioka walked over to Selena, looking at her non-traditional outfit. "I can carry some of those bags, if you need help," Tomioka offered. "That would be great. I'm Selena, by the way. I'm going to go to the recording studio and make sure everything is prepared for after dinner," Shira said. Selena and the others walked into the kitchen. They put down the bags on the counter. Selena pulled up her shoulder-length hair into a small ponytail. She walked around the kitchen and got out what she needed. Tomioka walked out of the kitchen and went back to his futon. Kacho remained in the room watching Selena cautiously. Selena turned to Kacho and chuckled. "I presume you're here to make sure I don't poison the food." Kacho leaned against the counter. "Perhaps. But I'd also like to get to know you. According to Shira and Shiro, you created them. Care to elaborate?" "Sure. They are robots. I created them a few years ago when I was 16. I made them for my friend Lemon. She's the one who authorized this reaction as well. Of course, that isn't her real name, but oh well," Selena said as she chopped up some veggies. "Robots? What a robot. I assume it's a human with powers. Maybe I'll find an answer in the library later," Kacho wondered. Amain walked into the kitchen and offered to help Selena. She agreed and told Amain what they were making. Around 20 minutes later, the food was finished. It was just some simple sushi, enough to feed everyone. "I'll get everyone," Selena smiled. "Could you both set the table? I doubt the 12 Kazuki will be joining us, so we should have enough chairs." "Very well," Amain said. When Selena left, Kacho and Amain began setting the table with plates and silverware they found in the cupboards. "She was definitely something," Amain commented. "I watched her prepare all the food before you came in, so I know the food isn't poisoned. But still something is off about her. Her name isn't Japanese, and her clothes are very non-traditional." She also mentioned Shira and Shiro being robots, whatever those are, Kacho shared. "Whenever our next break is, I'll help you look in the library to see if we can find any books about her and these so-called robots," Amain said. Meanwhile, with Selena, she went into the bedrooms first. Shinazugawa heard her entering the large room filled with futons. He pressed her against the wall, beginning his interrogation. "Who the hell are you?" he asked. Despite the ambush, Selena remained calm as she responded, "I'm Selena. I do hope that Shira or Shiro told you about my arrival. I prepared some sushi, it's in the dining hall. Kacho and Yubayashiki-san's wife helped prepare dinner, so you don't have to worry about it being poisoned." "Seimi, let her go please," Yubayashiki said. "She prepared food, let's go eat." All of the humans arrived in the dining hall swiftly. They grabbed the sushi they wanted from the large plates. Conversation was blooming at the large table. Rengoku was shouting Yumai after every bite. "So, Tanjiro, we have a plan to help Tameo create the cure even faster," Yubayashiki said. "That's amazing," he responded. "How is the food, everyone? I don't make Japanese food very often," Selena asked. "It's delicious," Kenroji smiled, as turned to Aguro. "Are you not going to eat, Aguro-san?" "No, I'm not hungry," he said. "I've been meaning to ask you, Selena-san, are you Japanese?" Kacho asked. "I'm not Japanese. I'm British, although I've been learning Japanese for a few years," she informed the group. "Wah, how old are you, Selena-san?" Tanjiro asked. "I'm 19, she said after another bite of sushi. While the humans ate their food peacefully, the 12 Kazuki finally got a chance to speak. "Lord Muzan, I think it would be best to send an upper moon," Dalma suggested. "Don't tell Lord Muzan what to do, dimwit," Akaza scowled. "All of you shut up. I'll think of a plan without your useless input. I'd gladly take suggestions from you when you bring me the blue spider lily. Now all of you leave the library. I want to continue reacting, to gain as much information as possible," Muzan yelled. Once everyone was finished with their dinner, Selena took her leave. Everyone got back in their seats, preparing for the next reaction. You all had an hour break. Since it is now past 8 p.m., everyone can get ready for bed around 9. "Is everyone ready to continue?" Shiro asked. A unison of yes was heard as the screen lit up once again. Episode 11, Suzumi Mansion. As the screen lit up, it gave a recap, refreshing the minds of the characters. Once the recap was finished, a small sparrow flew over to Tanjiro. It chirped in worry. Tanjiro nodded at the sparrow. The screen filled with ink as the title showed. Tanjiro looked over at Zenitsu and the girl. The sparrow squeaked repeatedly. "Come on, I'm begging you. There's no one else. You're the only hope I have left," Zenitsu pleaded as he pulled on the girl's kimono. "I still can't believe that you're on the side of the road begging a girl to marry you," Aoi sighed. "You'd do the same thing if you were as weak as me," Zenitsu countered. "So that's it then. Okay, I'll try to help," Tanjiro said. The sparrow chirped in relief. "Wait, did you actually understand the chirps?" Ishiro asked. "You can't," Tanjiro asked. "Great, another special thing about this stupid kid," Iguro thought. "Please, I'm asking you again, marry me, I beg you," Zenitsu pleaded. Tanjiro grabbed Zenitsu's haori and pulled him off the girl. Zenitsu looked at Tanjiro and tears filled his eyes. "Wah, Tanjiro, what are you doing? That girl was going to marry me," Zenitsu yelled. Tanjiro looked confused. "What are you talking about? She's clearly not interested." "He's denser than Tomioka," Kacho thought. "Why are you making such a scene in the middle of the road? She's clearly not interested in you. Also, you're stressing your sparrow out," Tanjiro lectured. That uniform. Aren't you that guy from Final Selection?" Zenitsu asked. "Don't go pretending like we know each other." "'Cause we don't, Kei," Tanjiro yelled. "What now, you're pretending not to remember me?" Zenitsu exclaimed. "To be fair, we didn't talk during Final Selection," Tanjiro explained. "Ah, but we have met, don't you remember? Don't get angry at me when you're the only with the terrible memory," Zenitsu yelled back. The memory from when they met played. No talking could be heard. It went back to the present. Tanjiro was still holding Zenitsu by his haori. He let him go and went to the girl. "All right, you're all set to go home again. Do you need help with anything else?" Tanjiro said. "That yellow-haired boy is awful. I hope he dies soon," Neikime thought. "This is useless," Muzan thought. The girl bowed. "No, thank you very much." "Hang on, don't you interfere. That girl was madly in love with me. The two of us are gonna get mar," Zenitsu screamed. Before Zenitsu could finish his yelling, the girl smacked him. She hit him several times. Zenitsu begged for her to stop. Tanjiro stood dumbfounded. "What? Why did she hit me?" Zenitsu asked. "Probably because she's not in love with you, idiot," Shinazugawa scoffed. "As if you know anything about love. Especially with all those scars," Zenitsu muttered. "Hey, calm down," Tanjiro screamed as he grabbed the lady. "When did I ever say anything even resembling that I loved you? All I did was come talk to you while you were crumpled up all disheveled on the side of the road," she yelled. Zenitsu responded horrified. "So are you telling me the reason you did that wasn't because you were falling in love with me? Considering I already have a fiancé, that's exactly what I've been trying to tell you. Well, you seem to be perfectly fine now, so goodbye," she yelled. "That poor girl. If I run into that kid, I'll make sure to kill him," Akaza thought. "Wait, come back, please," Zenitsu yelled. "Would you give it a rest already?" Tanjiro sighed. "Why did you have to get in my way? This had nothing to do with you," Zenitsu cried. Tanjiro looked at him disappointed. "What are you talking about? I was just helping that girl out," Tanjiro said. "You stopped me from getting married. Now I'm gonna die alone," Zenitsu said. "Why does he think he's going to die?" Kanao wondered. Zenitsu continued crying. "Why are you looking at me like that? Stop it. You're staring at me like I'm a pitiful creature or something. Listen here, you. The reason I missed out on getting married is all your fault." Tanjiro looked at Zenitsu. Disappointment was still on his face. "Say something, would ya? Look, during my next job I'll likely die. The reason is, I'm just a weakling. Do you understand? You have to help protect me until I manage to get married, mister," Zenitsu said. "If you're so weak, why did you join?" Takedo asked. "I had a lot of debt to pay off. But a trainer went and paid it off for me in exchange for me. He trained me, it was hell," Zenitsu sighed. "If you're so weak, shouldn't you have died in Final Selection?" Takedo asked. "You'd think that, but no. I somehow survived and now I have to live in this hellish nightmare." "My name is Tanjiro, and you are," he asked as he put a hand on his chest. Tanjiro? That's good to know. I'm Zenitsu Agatsuma. Please, you've got to do what you can to save me. Tanjiro grabbed Zenitsu's shoulders. Aren't you being a bit dramatic? Why did you even become a swordsman? You're acting utterly pathetic right now. Pathetic? That's so harsh. Tanjiro, Zenitsu cried. This human is so useless. His whining is making my ears bleed, Daki thought. That's a harsh way to put it. I got conned by a woman and racked up a lot of debt. The old geezer who took it over for me happened to be this tough as nails instructor. He made me train to the bone every day. It was so hellish I just wanted to die. I was hoping that it would happen during final selection. But since I survived, this nightmare continues to haunt me, Zenitsu screamed. How unflashy. His whining is unseemly too, Yuzui thought. He's too noisy, Takedo thought. Zenitsu ended up doing a bridge while screaming that he was scared. I just know I'm gonna get eaten by a demon soon. My brains are gonna get sucked through my ears while I'm still alive. No, no, please save me, Zenitsu screamed. That's so gross, Genya said. Do demons really do that? Sanjuro asked. Hey, are you okay? Tanjiro asked. Zenitsu began hyperventilating while Tanjiro rested his arm on Zenitsu. His sparrow chirped at Tanjiro's crow. They eventually calmed down and began walking together. You better? Tanjiro asked. A bit, but now I'm feeling really hungry, Zenitsu admitted. Don't you have any food? Or rations on you? No. Tanjiro reached into his haori and pulled out an onigiri wrapped in paper. Here, take one of these, Tanjiro offered. Wah, Tanjiro, you're so kind, Zenitsu smiled. Why didn't you have any food on you? Shinazugawa asked. Are you trying to starve? What? Of course not. Really? Zenitsu asked as he grabbed the onigiri. Thank you so much. Aren't you going to eat anything? That was all I had, Tanjiro admitted. Zenitsu looked at Tanjiro, sad he took Tanjiro's last bit of food. He ripped the onigiri in half and handed it to Tanjiro. Hey, you take this half. You're really kind, Zenitsu. When you're not harassing girls, Tanjiro smiled. Zenitsu looked at Tanjiro. Thanks. You sure about that? Thanks a lot. The boys ate the rice as they continued their journey, the birds guiding them to their mission. Tanjiro broke their silence. I know what you mean when you say you're terrified of demons, but you should try not to worry your sparrow. Huh? You're saying it was distressed. How could you tell? I still don't know how you can understand a sparrow's chirps, Yusui said, but I'd say it's pretty flashy. You think everything is flashy, Iguro scoffed. Let's see, he says you're always whining about not wanting to go to work, and you're always hitting on girls, and you snore really loudly. Yep, that covers it, Tanjiro said, the sparrow sitting on his hand. Zenitsu stepped back in shock. Wait, he said all that? You can understand bird language. Yeah. No way. You've got to be lying to me. The crow cawed, interrupting their talking. Start running. Start running. Run, Tanjiro. Run, Zenitsu. Both of you must head to your next destination. Run, Tanjiro. Run, Zenitsu. I almost forgot they were heading to a mission, Kuina said. Tanjiro is going to have to fight with a healing leg and rib. Unless Zenitsu is going to step up, Kacho sighed. Me? Step up? No, you don't understand, I'm really weak, Zenitsu commented. I believe in you, Zenitsu, Tanjiro said. Zenitsu began freaking out. That crow is talking to us. Is this kid really afraid of everything? He reminds me of Hantingu, Dalma thought. A forested area was where the boys were sent. They both headed in the direction. Hey, Tanjiro, maybe I should just hang back for now. Even if I tag along with you, I'm not going to be able to do anything. The scent of demons is getting stronger. There's something up ahead, Tanjiro thought. As they continued through the trees, Tanjiro gasped. A mansion was shown up ahead. A mansion, Suma said. A house, Tanjiro thought. The manor was very traditional. It had a blue shingled roof and mainly white walls. Birds could be heard chirping. The boys stood in front of the mansion. I can smell blood, Tanjiro commented, but it's strange. What, we aren't even in the manor, and you can smell blood, Zenitsu said in awe. That's really cool, Tanjiro-kun, Kenroji smiled. Wait, you can smell something here? Yeah, but this is a whole new smell. Zenitsu brought his hand to his ear. A smell? I can't say I'm getting that. What about that sound? You're able to hear that, right? A sound? Do you have good hearing, by any chance? Heimjima asked. I do, Zenitsu responded. That's really cool, Zenitsu, Tanjiro said. Sound? Tanjiro asked as he turned to Zenitsu. Tanjiro gasped and looked past Zenitsu. He saw two children huddled together. The children had fear on their faces. Children, what are they doing there? Yushiro asked. There are kids here, Zenitsu commented. They look scared, Tanjiro said. He walked up to the kids. Hey there, is there a reason you're out here by yourselves? They're definitely terrified. He noted. Those poor children, I hope you can help them, Kamado-kun, Heimjima said. Tanjiro bent down near the kids. Guess what? I've got something really cool here. Want to see it? He showed them the sparrow. Ta-da! It's a friendly sparrow. See, isn't he cute? The kids let their guards down a bit. Tears were falling out of their eyes before they both fell to the ground. They're full of fear. Something must have happened to them, Kocho commented. Talk to me. Did something happen? Tanjiro asked. Is this your house? No, it's not, the boy cried. This house is, it belongs to a monster. It showed the boy reaching out for someone, while the girl clung to the boy. A monster with long hair and things attached to it was seen in the silhouette. The memory was painted in red and black. Damn demons, Shinazugawa muttered. Our big brother got taken away. We were walking down the road at night, and this thing appeared in front of us. It went straight for our brother, never giving us a glance, the boy explained. Now that's odd. Why did the demon only take their brother? Makio asked. Perhaps the boy has Merchai blood, Yubayashiki suggested. What's Merchai blood? Tanjiro asked. It's a special kind of blood that's rich in nutrients. For demons, eating one Merchai is equivalent to eating 50 to 100 humans, Tameo said. Did it take him into that house? Tanjiro asked. Yeah, that's right. So you two followed them here? That's real brave. Great job. We used the traces of his blood to follow them. That thing really hurt him. Wow, those two kids are both brave and stupid, Iguro muttered. I hope you can save their brother, Tanjiro and Zenitsu, Kenroji said. We'll do our best, they said in unison. The two cried as Tanjiro thought, I see. It'll be all right. We're gonna defeat the bad guy and save your brother. Is that true? You'll help him, the girl asked. Yes, I promise, Tanjiro responded as he stood up. You shouldn't be giving those kids false hope, Kokushibo said. I'm not. Even though this is in the future, I'll save their brother, Tanjiro said. He's just like Yoriichi. It's almost scary how similar they are. Kokushino wondered. Hey Tanjiro, Zenitsu said, his hand still on his ear. What is that strange sound? It's really unnerving, and never stops. It sounds like a drum. A drum? I don't hear anything, Tanjiro said. A drum demon. Could it be the former lower six? Muzan wondered. A drum beat was heard repeatedly. Both of the slayers braced themselves at the noise. The children looked fearful as well. It zoomed into an open door as the beating got louder and faster. Just then a person flew out of the open doors, falling to the ground from the second story. Tanjiro and Zenitsu gasped. Oh my god, that's a body, Suma screamed. Is that their brother? Amain asked. Look at that blood, it's beautiful, Enmu muttered. Heimjima began praying for the person. Tanjiro stared at the ground angry that he couldn't save him. Many of the humans looked away in respect. Blood covered the person. They fell to the ground, splattering blood everywhere. The girl screamed in fear. Her brother covered her eyes. Tanjiro moved his arm in front of the children. Just cover your eyes, Tanjiro said. Those poor kids, first their brother got taken, and now they saw a person die, Amain sighed. Zenitsu stood frozen, whimpering at the sight. Tanjiro ran over to the person quickly. Are you all right? He yelled, picking up the person. Can you hear me? Just hang on. This is bad. The wound is so deep, Tanjiro thought. Even though I was able to escape from that horrible place and make it here, was it not enough? Am I still gonna die? The man asked, choking on his blood a bit. Tanjiro hugged the man as he passed away. It showed the back of them both momentarily, then showing a close-up once more. The light left the man's eyes. Tears began to fall out of Tanjiro's eyes. Nezuko comforted her crying brother. Tanjiro wiped the tears and put on a serious look. When we get out of here, I'm going to save him. I'm going to make sure he lives, Tanjiro said. His dedication. It's quite noble, Yubayashiki thought. He's gone. I'm sorry you had to suffer like that, Tanjiro thought. Tanjiro, by any chance, would that happen to be those kids? Zenitsu asked. Before Zenitsu could finish his question, a loud roaring was heard. It shook the house, leaving the kids in fear again. The drum beat frantically once more. Zenitsu looked horrified, while Tanjiro looked determined. It showed a glimpse of the demon. It had pale skin and brownish nails. Several people who had more sensitive ears covered them at the loud roaring. Is that the demon? I can't kill that, Zenitsu screamed. Ah, it is the former lower six. Of course I was right, Muzan thought. The beating stopped. The siblings hugged even tighter. Zenitsu's teeth began to chatter too, as Tanjiro still held onto the body. We couldn't save him. If we'd only gotten here a little sooner, things might have been different, Tanjiro thought. Tanjiro, I know you feel responsible. However, you can't cling to the guilt, or it will eat you alive, Amane said. I know, thank you, Tanjiro smiled. We had similar thoughts. That's weird, Tomioka thought. Hey, is your brother? Tanjiro asked. No, that isn't him. He was wearing an orange-colored kimono, the boy said. Thank goodness. Not that I'm happy the man died though, Aoi said. I see. So, it's captured more than one person, Tanjiro thought. He set the body down and stood up. Clapping his hands together in prayer, I promise to bury you once I return. Until then, please forgive me. All right. Zenitsu, let's go, Tanjiro yelled. Zenitsu stared at Tanjiro. Are you crazy? If we go in there, we'll die. If you keep whining like that, I'm gonna smack the back of your head. It's totally unflashy, Yusui said. I agree. While you are crying, people could be dying, Rengoku said. Zenitsu frantically shook his head, not able to make words out of his blubbering and weeping. Look, the only people who can help them are you and me. Now, Tanjiro said. Zenitsu managed to get out. All right then. Have it your way, Tanjiro threatened. Ah, Tanjiro, don't make that scary face, Zenitsu cried. Zenitsu began to freak out at Tanjiro's face. Tanjiro started walking away. Hey, Tanjiro, don't be so scary. Fine, I give in. You win. I'll come along with you. Okay, Zenitsu cried, as he latched onto Tanjiro's legs. Tanjiro's eyes were fully red as he spoke menacingly. Don't let me force you. I said I'll go, Zenitsu cried. He easily changes his mind. How odd, Kanao thought. Tanjiro set Nezuko's box in front of the kids. You're leaving Nezuko behind, Tomioka asked. I guess, though I'm not sure I'd do it now, Tanjiro said. In case you run into trouble, I'm leaving this box. If you need help, it'll protect you. Okay, we'll be back, Tanjiro said as he walked to the mansion. They walked into the mansion together. There were several things in the first room they walked into. The light was flickering. Zenitsu began breathing heavily. So, Tanjiro, hey, before we continue, whatever's in this place with us, you'll be sure to protect me from it, won't you? You're a demon slayer, you should know how to protect yourself, Genya said. Genya's right, I'm not always going to be with you, Tanjiro said. Don't call me by my first name, like we're friends, Genya said. Zenitsu, I hate to have to tell you this, but in my last fight I broke a leg and a rib. Neither of them have fully healed as of yet, Tanjiro began to inform. Zenitsu burst into fear. Wait, what? You have broken bones. What do you think you're trying to do to me? If you're in that condition, my fate has been sealed. I'm gonna die. What? You didn't tell me beforehand? Are you trying to kill me? Zenitsu asked. Tanjiro watched as Zenitsu screamed about how he was going to die. I can't believe you have broken bones. I'm a dead man now, completely and utterly dead. This kid is so annoying. He's worse than those people in the entertainment district, Daki thought. Zenitsu, you've got to calm down. You'll be all right, Tanjiro said, while Zenitsu repeated, I'm dead. Don't give me empty promises. No, it's true. You're going to be fine. Because you're, Tanjiro said. No, stay away. He was interrupted by two kids running down the halls. Zenitsu finally got off the floor. You two shouldn't be here, Tanjiro yelled. What are the kids doing there? Higuro asked. It's not safe for them to be there, Rengoku added. We were sorry, there were sounds coming from inside that box, the boy explained. Tanjiro hugged the girl. Still, I really wish you hadn't left it behind. That thing is more precious to me than my own life. Their conversation was cut short by loud crashing sounds. The girl held onto Tanjiro tighter. Zenitsu began freaking out all over again. He fell to the ground screaming. A doorway separated Tanjiro and Zenitsu. That's not good, Shinjiro scoffed. There's a doorway in between you two. Oops, sorry, Zenitsu said. The drum beat again, and the door in between them shut. Tanjiro gasped, looking at their changing surroundings, stopping once he and the girl were in a large room lit by 2 lights. So that's the demon's blood art. How annoying, Shinazugawa sighed. Now they're separated. That's not good, Aoi said. Tanjiro, you better come find me. I'm a dead man, Zenitsu yelled. The room changed. Or could it be that we somehow moved during the beat of that drum? Tanjiro wondered. The girl sobbed into Tanjiro's uniform. Tanjiro quickly comforted her. I'm sorry you got separated from your brother. But I'm going to protect you no matter what, Tanjiro said, wiping her tears, and Zenitsu is going to protect your brother. Don't worry. What's your name? You're very good at comforting people, Tanjiro, Kocho said. Thank you. It probably has to do with the fact that I had so many siblings I had to take care of, Tanjiro smiled. It's Teruko, she said softly. That's a cute name, Kenroji said. Your name's Teruko. Your parents picked out a really? Tanjiro stopped his sentence, gasping at a loud noise. It zoomed into the corner of the door frame. A large foot was seen stomping onto the ground. It then showed its face. The eyes were fully red and drums were coming out of its body. Tanjiro covered the girl's mouth. So that's the demon that killed the man and took their brother. I promise I'll decapitate him, Tanjiro said. We believe in you, Tanjiro, Yubayashiki smiled. Among all the different scents in this mansion, this is the strongest one. It's eaten so many. This one has to be the master of this place. Meanwhile, with Zenitsu. I'm gonna die. It's over. It's over. It's over. I just know it. I can't believe Tanjiro and I got separated, Zenitsu screamed. Teruko, you hear? It's Shoichi, the boy called out. Hey, you can't go around yelling like that, Zenitsu said, latching onto Shoichi's Haori. If the bad guy hears you and finds us, it's not gonna be pretty. Let's just go wait outside. What a hypocrite, many thought. You really should man up, Minitsu. Crying isn't gonna kill the demons, Inosuke shouted. Oh, shut up. You'd be freaking out if you could hear all the demons moving around too, Zenitsu said in defense. Huh? Why would we do that? Are you trying to escape all by yourself? Shoichi asked. All this constant whining about dying, aren't you a little ashamed? It's pathetic that you're clinging to the sleeve of someone who's younger than you. Zenitsu felt betrayed as Shoichi continued. Why does a coward like you have a sword on your hip in the first place? Several laughed at Shoichi's honesty. Zenitsu tried to come up with a defense, but none came to mind. He crossed his arms as the show continued. Zenitsu fell to the ground dramatically. Those words, they cut me right to my core. Zenitsu got up quickly and began dragging Shoichi. Listen here you, I'm not going to be useful here anyway. I'm just going to go find an adult who can help us, okay? Zenitsu, you can't just abandon your mission, Yubayashiki said. Let me go. Because this isn't something us kids can resolve on our own, Zenitsu yelled. He walked to the door he thought was the exit, only to open it and find another room instead. The whole house has changed apparently, Kanao said after flipping her coin. I can see that, but that doesn't help me, Zenitsu yelled. He's so loud, Kanao thought. No way, you've got to be kidding me. How is this not the front door? Did I misremember? I was sure it was here, Zenitsu said. He began opening several doors, none of which were the exit. The last door Zenitsu opened had something inside. A human with a boar head. It looked back at Zenitsu, steam coming out of its nose. Zenitsu was covered in fear. Look, my minions, it's Lord Inosuke Hashibira, Inosuke said. Why are you wearing a boar's head? Kacho asked, only to be ignored. It's a monster, he screamed. The boar head left the room, jumping around the duo. It ran quickly down the hallway, while Zenitsu was still on the floor. Shoichi looked down at Zenitsu. What the heck? What's with that look? Stop it, Zenitsu said. It went back to Tanjiro and Truco. They watched the demon in the doorway. Truco's mouth was still covered by Tanjiro. If it hadn't been for them and their meddling, the demon said. Truco, you've got to try not to scream, Tanjiro whispered. The room might change again, so don't go far, all right? Go hide behind those shelves. Hopefully that is a good idea. I don't want her to get separated from me, Tanjiro said. Are we finally going to see another fight? I thought the mushy stuff would never end, Akaza thought. Truco ran off, and Tanjiro grabbed his sword. Curses, curses. Thanks to them, he was able to get away. That prey was mine, and mine alone. Damn them, why do all these unwelcome guests keep barging into someone else's home? It's maddening. That prey belonged to me. I found it with my own 2 hands. On my own property, the demon muttered. Lovely. According to this demon, there are more in the house, Kacho sighed. More demons, Tanjiro repeated. Tanjiro drew his sword. As the demon continued monologuing. Hey, you listen up. I'm a demon slayer, rank Mizunoto, Tanjiro Kamado. It's my duty to slay you now, Tanjiro yelled. Why did you scream your name and rank? Just kill it, Shinazugawa said. I suppose that was a bit stupid, Tanjiro admitted. A child with mariachi that I found myself, the demon muttered. We were right. The brother is a merchai, Kacho said. I wish we weren't right, Rengoku said. Tanjiro began heading to the demon. Got him, he thought. No, that's too easy. Tanjiro noted. What else can this demon do? However, he was wrong. Before his sword could touch the demon, a drum was hit. The entire room began to shift. Truco screamed as she fell to the new floor. Tanjiro called out her name. Not only can he change the rooms, he can change the whole manor, Sanjiro said. This demon might be trouble, but I believe you can do it, Kamado, Rengoku smiled. I thought this might happen. The room's been flipped. So, this is his blood demon art. The entire mansion is his territory. What's this? There's an odd scent, but it's not a demon, Tanjiro thought. The screen went black, but maniacal laughing was heard. Better watch out, 'cause ready or not here I come, Inosuke shouted. How flashy. Kill that demon, Yuzui praised. The boar-headed kid burst through the doors. With 2 swords, wood clattered to the floor as Inosuke landed. You're kinda scary, Inosuke, Tanjiro admitted. What? Who's this guy? He's wearing a boar's hide, and he's wielding Nichiren swords, Tanjiro thought. Inosuke brought his swords down before speaking. All right, you monster, die on the battlefield and serve as my catalyst so that I may become even more powerful and soar to new heights. Aren't my swords amazing? Inosuke asked. Not really, Zenitsu muttered. Infuriating, just infuriating, the demon said. Hope you're ready for me, 'cause I'm coming through, Inosuke threatened. The screen then went black. Inosuke, you're going to help us, right? Tanjiro asked. I'll kill that demon for sure. It will become another stepping stone for me. Let's start the next episode, Shiro said. Episode 12, The Boar Bares Its Fangs. Zenitsu sleeps. I hope you're ready for me, 'cause I'm coming through, Inosuke shouted, as he charged at the demon. Wait, we didn't get a recap, Kocho said. Probably because we got left on a high-tension scene. Plus, we just watched the last part, Yushiro suggested. That makes sense, Kacho said. It's all so infuriating, the demon said, striking a drum. The room began to rotate. Truco yelped as her back hit the new floor. Tanjiro landed effortlessly. What a troublesome demon art, Rengoku said. It reminds me of your demon art, Biwa lady, Jutaro said. I see the resemblance, however mine is better, Nakaim said. Truco, hold on to the furniture, Tanjiro said. Inosuke jumped onto Tanjiro's arm, using it as leverage to go to the demon. You are going to become my stepping stone in killing this demon, Inosuke said. Inosuke, that's not safe at all, Tanjiro exclaims. Tanjiro yelled at Inosuke. That demon has special powers. You shouldn't be attacking it so recklessly. All Inosuke did was laugh. He continued to charge at the demon. The screen was filled with the black ink again as the title showed up. It went back to the mansion. Inosuke was headed for the demon. Wait, I'm in the title. Why is it saying I'm going to sleep? Zenitsu asked. I agree, that is concerning, Aoi said. How maddening, the drum demon commented. All these cursed insects running in my house. He struck the drum once again, making the room spin. The action caused Inosuke to miss his killing blow. Tanjiro landed on the floor, away from Teruko. Inosuke then stepped on the girl, laughing. Teruko winced underneath his foot. "Why are you stepping on an innocent child?" Tama asked. "Don't ask me. This is the future we re-watching, or whatever those people said," Inosuke said. "I can't believe the room spun around. Now this is what I call a fun time," Inosuke laughed. Tanjiro ran over to the other humans and took Inosuke's foot off of the girl. "Get your dirty feet off of her." Tanjiro threw Inosuke, but he landed flawlessly. Tanjiro checked on Teruko meanwhile. "How intriguing. I'm definitely going to fight him when I get a chance," Inosuke said. "Although I agree with protecting Teruko. Please refrain from fighting each other," Yubayashiki said. "Right, sorry," Tanjiro said. "Who the hell are you, kid?" Inosuke asked. "Stepping on a little kid like that. What are you thinking?" Tanjiro yelled after he picked up Teruko. Inosuke laughed. "You got spunk, I like that. Having a human send me flying, that's a first for me. This dude is so weird. Doesn't he know it's taboo to fight amongst demon slayers?" Tomioka thought. He ran towards Tanjiro, trying to cut him with his swords. Tanjiro jumped back. "Why is he coming after me? Isn't he a demon slayer?" Tanjiro wondered. "These swords do a lot of damage. They're not the kind you delicate flowers would use. The way they shred through flesh is what I pride myself on the most," Inosuke said. "Hey, poor kid? What breathing style do you use?" Urokodaki asked. "Beast breathing," he replied. "Breast breathing," Yubayashiki repeated. "That isn't an official breathing style in the Demon Slayer Corps. I assume you made it yourself." "You bet I did. I made it while I was alone on my mountains. Nobody taught me anything," Inosuke laughed. "That's quite impressive. I haven't heard of someone making a breathing style without any training in a long time," Kokushibo thought. "This is foolish," Tanjiro said. "There's a demon right there." "You think I care?" Inosuke asked as he charged again. "Measly insects, you're irksome, now die," the demon growled as it zoomed into him. "That demon is quite ugly. It doesn't even have a good fashion sense," Daki thought. He hit the drum on his belly. Scratch marks appeared in between the two slayers. They both jumped back, just in time. "Scratch marks too, how dangerous," Kenroji said. "I see, I'll have to be extra careful then. The last thing I want is to be sliced into several pieces," Tanjiro muttered. The floor just ripped apart. It happened at the speed of the beat of the drum, and in the shape of a beast's claws, Tanjiro noted. The demon struck the drum again. This time the claw marks headed for Inosuke. Inosuke jumped out of the way. The claws broke the doors behind him. The drum was hit once more, rotating the room. Tanjiro noted which way the room spun to protect Teruko. At least the demon art seems simple to figure out. Each drum does something different, Genya said. "That makes sense. Good job for figuring that out, Genya," Hajime said. "Whatever, he isn't that good. I still don't know why he joined. I told him not to. Damn kids," Shinasagawa thought. "Insects, miserable vermin," the demon muttered, hitting the drum on his shoulder, then the one on his hip. Inosuke crashed into what became the floor. Tanjiro held onto Teruko tightly. "I'm starting to understand," Tanjiro thought. It showed the demon muttering something. Just then another drum was hit, causing the room to change. "What is he muttering?" Makio asked. "Despite my good hearing, I can't tell what he's saying." "Sorry," Zenitsu said. "Wait," the room changed, but none of the drums were hit, Yushiro said. "That's interesting. Perhaps there is more than one drum demon," Dalma said. "We're in another room now. But that demon didn't strike his drum. So what does this mean?" Tanjiro wondered. "I'm picking up the scent of multiple demons in this house. Is there another demon with a drum then? Is that why? I can smell blood." Blood, another person I couldn't save. I hope they will forgive me, Tanjiro thought. Teruko moved her head out of Tanjiro's shoulder, cowering in fear. Inosuke was no longer in the room with them. "It's gonna be fine," Tanjiro set her down and stood up. "You just stay behind me." Teruko nodded. They headed for the door leading out of the room. Tanjiro pulled it back and looked both ways. He gasped when he noticed a corpse in the dark hallway. That poor person, Hajime said before praying for them. How awful. Hopefully the girl doesn't see it, Hinetsuru said. Ah, that doesn't look like a girl. What a shame, Dalma thought. Tanjiro looked down. Another human, mauled and eaten. Is something wrong? She asked. No, we're fine. There's no demons. Come on, let's head out, Tanjiro said. He led her out of the room, shielding her from the corpse. Keep your eyes forward, all right? Don't look behind you. I'm glad you shielded her eyes. At her age, she shouldn't have to deal with any more trauma, Kenroji said. Of course, anything I can do to not cause further harm, Tanjiro said. He's so kind. How? How can he be this kind? Zenitsu wondered. Tanjiro began smelling the air again. I smell something else. A unique scent of blood that I've never smelled before. Seems like there wasn't much bleeding. Tanjiro stopped, putting his hand in front of Teruko. He brought his hand to his mouth, signaling her to be quiet. She nodded slightly. They moved closer to the door, and Tanjiro moved it quickly. Inside was a young boy wearing a green kimono and an orange haori. He noticed Tanjiro. Fear fell on his face. He prepared to strike the drum. However, it transitioned back to the dark halls. Zenitsu was breathing heavily as he dragged Shoichi through the halls. Bad boy, is that their brother? Makio asked. I hope so. After all, I did promise them I'd save their brother, Tanjiro smiled. Excuse me, can we stop, Zenitsu? Shoichi asked. Oh, we're back to the scaredy cat and brother. I hope they get eaten by a demon, Rui thought. Zenitsu screamed in fear, turning to Shoichi and grabbing his haori. Zenitsu's teeth began to chatter. Zenitsu spoke. You gotta warn me first, before you speak up. You can't go surprising me like that here. My heart nearly jumped out of my mouth just now. But wasn't that the warning? Sanjuro asks. I need a warning for the warning, okay? Zenitsu said. Sorry about that, Shoichi said, unamused. If I had a heart attack, you would be directly responsible. That would make you a murderer. Do you understand? I don't appreciate you saying that he would be a murderer. You really need to be brave, Yubayashiki said. Well, it's just that you've been sweating, gasping, and shivering really badly. What about it? I'm doing the best I can here, all right. Forgive me for saying so, Shoichi looked at the ground. But you're making me really nervous too. Wait, I was? No, that was the opposite of what my future self was trying to do, Zenitsu thought. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's just I feel, if we make too much noise here, that demon you saw, it might find us, right? That's why, I think it would be best if we be as quiet as possible, don't you think? Zenitsu yelled. At that moment a demon crept up on them. Fear fell on Shoichi's face as he looked at the ugly demon. Zenitsu turned around, fear falling on his face too. The demon was crawling on the ground, laughing. Zenitsu screamed at the sight of the demon. Several people looked at him. Disappointment glossed their faces. I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting a demon to appear out of thin air. All right, he said. Looks like you'll have to be brave and face the demon to kill it, Makio said. You better make it flamboyant. Not that it'll erase all your annoying crying, Yusui said. A couple of kids, I bet you'll taste delicious, the tongue demon said. What did I tell you? Zenitsu screamed. It's just our luck we ran into a demon. The screen went black for a moment, before picking up with the two of them running away from the demon that was crawling behind them. This kid really is pathetic. He's just running away. He's not even making an effort to kill it, Akaza thought. Stay away from us, I'm warning you, Zenitsu yelled. The demon crawled behind them, laughing at their fear. Look, we don't taste good. I'm sure I taste awful. I'm serious. This kid's all skin and bones, so I'd be dry and taste terrible, Zenitsu tried to reason. Are you actually trying to tell a demon why it shouldn't kill you? Just kill it, Takedo asked. It's not my fault I don't do well under pressure. The demon laughed. How will I know for sure until I have a lick? The demon extended its tongue towards the boys. They moved out of the way in time. So instead its tongue sliced a barrel in half, making the water spill out. I see the demon has a strong tongue. That could be troubling, Kacho said. Zenitsu, you should watch the screen. It could give you insight about how to handle your future endeavors, Yubayashiki said. Are you kidding me? His tongue, it's like a bolt of lightning, Zenitsu screamed. The demon continued following them. releasing its tongue at them again. It missed Zenitsu's head, barely. "This has to be a nightmare," Zenitsu cried. "When we get back, I'm going to have another demon slayer train him so he doesn't scream at everything," Yubayashiki thought. The boys fell into a room. Shoichi sat up first. Zenitsu stayed glued to the floor. "Zenitsu, you've got to get up." "My knees? My fear is in my knees," Zenitsu cried. "Wow, we might actually watch this kid's death," Nakheim thought. "This is useless once again." "Well, at least we aren't watching that kid," Muzan thought. "This isn't the time to complain about that stuff." The demon crawled closer to the door as the boys talked. "Blondie, if you've been pretending to be weak, this would be a good time to stop," Aguro said. Zenitsu turned around in shock. "Pretending? I'm not pretending. I really am weak, and because of that we're going to watch the demon eat my brains." "It would only be a light meal," Jayako thought. "Just leave me behind, okay? Make a run for it," Zenitsu said. "I can't do something like that." "He's so kind," Kenroji said. "Ah, what a sweet kid. As useless as I am, he's sticking by me. I gotta find a solution to this," Zenitsu thought. "If I don't protect him, I don't want to think about what'll happen. Dying before he reaches adulthood would be tragic, but I'm so horribly weak." "Zenitsu, I'm sure you aren't weak," Tanjiro said. "Tanjiro, Shoichi is dragging me across the room so the demon doesn't eat my brains. I think I'm weak." "Spare your kindness for someone who deserves it," Zenitsu said. "I get it. He isn't weak. Instead, his self-esteem is so low he thinks he's weak," Amin thought. "Get up," Shoichi begged, pulling his shoulders. "I don't have the strength to protect him, but if I don't then that would mean," Zenitsu thought. The demon crawled into the room the boys were huddled in. It laughed at their fear. "I'm going to relish using my tongue to scoop your brains out through your ears," the demon commented. "That's so gross. Damn demons," Shinazugawa said. Zenitsu froze in fear and passed out in Shoichi's hands. Did you just pass out?" Sanjiro asked. "At least I'll be asleep when I die," Zenitsu said. "How unprofessional. How could he fall asleep?" Takedo wondered. "Zenitsu, are you?" he said. Realization hit him as he looked at Zenitsu. He was asleep in Shoichi's hands. Zenitsu began snoring too. "He's asleep," Shoichi noticed. "How could you leave the child to defend himself?" "You're the one with a sword," Aguro asked. "If I hadn't become a demon slayer, this never would have happened," Zenitsu muttered. "I believe in you," Tanjiro smiled. "You better kill that demon, Minetsu," Inosuke said. The demon stepped closer to them. Shoichi dropped Zenitsu's hand in fear. "What's up with him?" the demon asked. Shoichi pulled Zenitsu away from the demon as it crawled closer. It laughed at the two. Shoichi breathed in fear. The demon launched its tongue at the boys, saying die. "How unfortunate, 2 souls dying before they reach adulthood," Haimjima said. "I doubt he's going to die." "Oh well," Tomioka thought. "Ah, please wake up, Zenitsu," Shoichi screamed. Just then, Zenitsu's hand twitched. In the blink of an eye, the tongue was cut before it reached them. The cut-off part of the tongue fell to the floor. The demon cried in pain as blood spilled from its tongue. "Wait, what the hell? Who cut the tongue?" "The brat doesn't have a sword and the blonde kids passed out," Shinazugawa said. "Maybe Tanjiro or Inosuke came to his rescue," Suma suggested. "No, I doubt that. Tanjiro is with the kids, and Inosuke is off on his own," Yorokodaki said. "Now this just got interesting," Akaza thought. Shoichi was crying. Then Zenitsu stood up, bringing his hand in front of Shoichi. The demon looked surprised. Zenitsu then took a fighting stance, grabbing his katana, exhaling deeply. "Wait, what? I'm so confused. How am I up?" Zenitsu asked. "I guess you woke up. This is great. You can save Shoichi," Tanjiro smiled. "But how? I'm so weak. There's no way this is possible," Zenitsu thought. "I'm very proud of you, Zenitsu. You finally got courage," Rengoku said. "Wah, what is this sound?" the demon wondered. "This boy, he's not the same as before." "Zenitsu," Shoichi said in awe. "Thunder breathing. First form. Thunder clap and flash," Zenitsu said. "Wait, are his eyes closed?" Kocho asked. "This might sound crazy, but is he still asleep?" Genya asked. "There's no way. This idiot, fighting while asleep. How would he maneuver around? Shinazagawa asked. That's an interesting theory, Enmu thought. Then, Zenitsu raced forward, cutting the demon's tongue and neck with one blow. A trail of lightning and smoke followed him. Shoichi sat in awe as he watched this unfold. Blood spewed from the decapitated demon. You did it, Zenitsu, Tanjiro cheered. Finally, you killed the demon. It wasn't even that strong, Takedo commented. Zenitsu was still in confusion, trying to figure out what changed. How was he able to kill the demon? He was weak, just a weakling, right? Zenitsu then awoke. He turned around. The demon head rolled to his feet. He screamed. I was right. He was asleep, Genya exclaimed. But how? Sanjuro asked. Just then it clicked in Zenitsu. My hearing? I can hear things, even when I'm asleep. That's how I knew where the demon was. That's pretty flashy, kid, Yusui said. Ah, it's dead. When did that happen? What the hell? This is weird, Zenitsu yelled. You don't even remember what happened, Kacho said. I guess not, Zenitsu said. Shoichi looked confused. The demon's body began to completely disintegrate. He turned to Shoichi. Shoichi, did you just? He asked, running over to the boy. You saved me. Thank you so much. I'll never forget that you did this. Why didn't you just tell me from the start that you were so powerful? You're praising the kid for what you did? That doesn't make sense, Inosuke said. I'm just glad I got to keep my brains, Zenitsu admitted. Huh? What are you talking about? You say something, Zenitsu asked, tears falling from his eyes. Huh, no. Ooh, he said, shaking his head. It's nothing. We should go now. I feel bad for the kid. He watched you act totally useless. Then you acted strong. Now you're back to normal. That must be an emotional ride, Nishika said. Yeah. It changed over to Inosuke, who was running through the hallways. Damn it, he sent me flying again. These last 3 days have been the same old crap. I don't like making my way through a cramped building like this. It's just not my thing, Inosuke said. You've been in the mansion for 3 days. How is your future self still alive? Tanjiro asked. I can survive without food and water for a while, Manjiro. Now, be impressed, Inosuke laughed. He turned the corner aggressively. He continued to run quickly. When he reached the next intersection, he did a backflip. A green hand reached out. You dodged that. You seem quite spry, human. Your healthy flesh will be well worth gouging out to eat, the green demon said. All of you feeble pebbles, prepare to watch Lord Inosuke kill this demon effortlessly, Inosuke said. Great, another kid with a complex. As if I'd be impressed, Muzan thought. Inosuke began exhaling, self-taught style. Beast breathing. It's gonna feel so good to rip such a huge target to shreds. You've got a lot of guts to charge me head-on like that, the demon laughed. The demon's cockiness went to waste. Inosuke effortlessly cut its arms off. The demon screamed as Inosuke laughed. That was really cool, Inosuke, Tanjiro smiled. Bubbles went around his head. Don't make me giddy, damn it. Revel in your own death, and serve as my catalyst. Fang 3, devour, Inosuke yelled. The demon's head was cut off easily, and Inosuke stepped on its chest. Making it fall down, he launched himself off the demon and further down the halls, not sparing a second. He cut that demon effortlessly. Those bottom feeders are always getting killed. They're disrespecting Lord Muzan by being that weak, Daki thought. Beast breathing looks quite intriguing. Perhaps later you could tell me about it, and we could add it to the official breathing styles, Yubayashiki said. Coming through, Inosuke yelled. Meanwhile, the drum demon walked down the hallways. Merchai, I need it. To devour even one, I would have as many as 50, nay 100 bodies worth. I must search for more humans with Merchai and devour them. In doing so, I will be able to reclaim my place among the 12 Kazuki. He was a part of the 12 Kazuki. Doesn't that mean that he's super strong? Zenitsu asked. Not necessarily. He will likely be stronger than the demons Tanjiro has faced before. However, he was stripped of Lower Moon 6. Which is the weakest lower moon, Kacho informed the group. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be careful, Yubayashiki added. Never let your guard down, no matter how weak you might think an opponent is. His blue eye was shown, the words lower 6 were etched into it. However, a huge X went across his eye. The screen went black before showing a lantern hanging. The demon was shown eating a human. A person walked up to the demon. Haimjima began praying for the poor soul. A few closed their eyes in respect as well. Kyogai, why have you stopped eating? Have you reached your limit? Muzin asked. Kibutsuji, you truly are a demon. Tanjiro thought. Anger filled his face. The demon lord is awful. I promise I will defeat you, Shinazugawa thought. No, sir, I can go on, Kyogai said. A red X went across his eye, causing it to bleed. Kyogai winced in pain. So that's when little Kyogai got stripped of his number. What a shame, really, Dalma said. Oh, shut up, Dalma. No one wants to hear your voice, Akaza said. Please, just give me a little more time, Kyogai begged. I think not. I am stripping you of your number because you have nothing more to offer me, Muzin said. Truly awful. This is why we must kill him sooner than later, Rengoku thought. He's so scary, Zenitsu thought. This is the man who caused all of our pain to start, Genya thought. The more humans you devour, the stronger you become. Once he saw my potential, Master Kibutsuji was willing to share his blood with me. The power of that man's blood was simply astonishing, he thought. Several images were shown as well. I was sure that I would grow infinitely stronger than before and be recognized in the ranks of the 12 Kazuki. I would continue to gorge myself on humans and steadily become even more powerful. Or so I believed. He finished his thought. Looks like he didn't think about running out of power, Chayako laughed. What a shame. He really thought he could be a part of the 12 Kazuki, Daki laughed. It switched to the 3 humans in the room. Kiyoshi, we found you, Teruko exclaimed, running to her brother. Brother. Thank God. We found their brother, Tanjiro sighed. He's holding a drum. I wonder what it does, Suma asked. Kiyoshi put down the drum and embraced his sister, saying her name gently. Tanjiro walked up to the two of them. Who is he? Tanjiro Kamado, and I'm a demon slayer. You two have hung in there really well. Can you show me your wounds? Tanjiro said, sitting down near the kids. Kiyoshi broke down in tears, covering his face with his hand. Poor kid, he was probably so scared. Being taken by a demon to be eaten must have been traumatizing, Kenroji said. I hope his wounds aren't too bad, Kacho said. Why, Kiyoshi, Teruko whispered. Teruko began to cry too. Tanjiro then pulled out a folded package, holding it in the air. Everyone's eyes became buttons for a moment. This ointment here is really amazing. My master gave it to me for a time like this, Tanjiro bragged. Yorokodaki chuckled. I'm glad the ointment I made is being put to use. By the way, Jiyu, you've used the ointment too, right? I have. It's nice, he responded. Tanjiro unraveled the cloth, taking the ointment and putting it on his finger. Want to know something funny? He always wears a Tengu mask, Tanjiro said, as he gently applied it. Why do you wear that mask anyways? Amane asked. I wear it to keep up a creepy facade back when I fought demons, he responded, though I don't see how that fact is funny. A Tengu, really, Kiyoshi said. It's the truth. Anyway, this ointment is fantastic. You'll feel better right away, Tanjiro said. When he was down, he wrapped it in a cloth. That'll do it. Well, you feel better. You're so gentle with kids. It's really refreshing, Suma smiled. Yes, Kiyoshi said. Tanjiro then got serious. Tell me what happened, if you can. A monster dragged me away, and it nearly ate me. But then another one showed up out of nowhere. They started fighting to the death over who was going to get to eat me, Kiyoshi began explaining. His memories were put on display for all to see. That's horrible. No kid should have to deal with seeing that, Zenitsu yelled. I wonder how he was able to get away, Ishiro said. Then the demon with the drums growing out of him left one of the drums behind after he was defeated by the others. When I picked it up and hit it, the room changed. That's how I held up, he cried. I see, that makes sense, Yushiro commented. That's quite brave, taking an object from a demon, Rengoku said. I suppose the demon really was weak. It got beat by a couple of unranked demons, Kacho said. I can't believe that demon was once in the 12 Kazuki. It seems so weak. Tanjiro can beat that demon easily, Tomioka thought. A demon with drums growing from him? That guy? He said. I think something about Merchai, Tanjiro commented. Yes, that's right. I don't know what it means, but he called me that, Kiyoshi said. When we leave, I want one of you to find the village they live in and give him some wisteria, Yubayashiki said. All of the slayers responded affirmative at their master's request. Tanjiro's crow perked up. The term merchai refers to the owner of a rare type of blood. Truko jumped into her brother's arms again, at the sight of a talking crow. Kiyoshi looked confused too. What's that look? I'll teach you respect, the crow laughed. Cut it out, Tanjiro said, picking up his crow. When you say rare blood, what do you mean? The blood of all living species can be broken into types. You see, the more scarce the blood, or the more uncommon it is, I should say, the more desirable it is to demons. For you see, in terms of nutritional value for a demon, a human merchai is akin to eating as many as 100 normal humans, the crow explained. I still can't believe there's a blood type that's worth that many humans, Tanjiro thought. A merchai is like a wonderful feast for them, a delicacy for the ages, the crow continued. The children huddled closer together in fear, while Tanjiro began to smell the air. He gasped, realizing the demon was closing in on them. The scenery switched to Kyogai walking through the halls. His footsteps were loud. He kept saying merchai. The demon is getting closer. The battle is about to begin, Shinazugawa smirked. I'll do my best, Tanjiro said. I'm going to head out there. Keep calm, it's all right. I'm going to take down that demon, Tanjiro said, holding Kiyoshi's shoulders. Teruko, listen to me. Your brother is really worn out at the moment, so watch after him, all right. I'm glad you have a plan, Tanjiro, Kacho said. I'm surprised I have one already. However, I'm glad I have one too, Tanjiro smiled. This kid, maybe he is a worthy opponent. Hopefully he'll take my request and become a demon, Akaza thought. Tanjiro kept talking. As soon as I leave this room, use the drum to change areas just like Kiyoshi's been doing. If someone tries to open the door or you hear something, strike that drum to remove yourself from danger. I promise that'll come for you. I'll follow your scent back, then I'll call your names so you know it's me. Just hold out a little longer. Can you do it? I suppose that plan is all right. It could be flashier though, Yusui commented. You have a lot of faith in these children, Iguro mentioned. They nodded in unison as Tanjiro put one hand on each of their shoulders. Great, so brave, Tanjiro said, standing up. I'm off. Kyogi peeked into the room. Tanjiro ran through the room at Kyogai. He yelled at them, telling them to strike the drum. The room behind him changed. Let's see if your plan will hold up, Chayako chuckled. Damn insects. So infuriating, Kyogai said, as he struck the drums. Tanjiro braced himself, landing softly. Kyogai stepped forward, hitting the drum again. Claw marks appeared behind Tanjiro. The attacks are already coming off strong, Rengoku noted. The right drum flips the room right, and the left one flips it left, right leg forward spin, left leg backward spin, and then the drum on his launches the claw attack, Tanjiro noted as the attacks happened. I'm glad the attacks are straightforward. It makes it easier to memorize, Zenitsu sighed. I agree, however the problem is more so the fact that I'm not fully healed. I assume I'm only tolerating the pain, Tanjiro corrected. The room spun several times, not letting Tanjiro get an attack in. Tanjiro started going to Kyogai's neck, only having to move so he didn't get sliced repeatedly. Those damn claws. They're in your way, Makio groaned. So fast. The speed of the rotations and attacks are brutal. Miss Tamo did treat my wounds, but these injuries aren't fully healed yet, Tanjiro thought. An image of Tanjiro with Tamo and the others was shown. I really shouldn't have gone on this mission before my injuries healed, Tanjiro murmured. A demon slayer must fight. Even with broken bones, protecting the innocent is more important, Rengoku said. Can I beat him? I'm in so much pain. I don't know how much longer I can hold on. This whole time I've just been grinning and bearing it. When I pulled Zenitsu off that girl he was chasing, when I shouted at him out of anger, I was enduring the most terrible pain. I had to withstand it. It was my duty as the eldest son of my family, he thought. Zenitsu turned to Tanjiro. I'm so sorry. You were hurting so bad and I was only making your life harder. I know this is the future, but I promise I'll be better. Zenitsu, it's all right. I can take it. I am the eldest son after all. Even though you are the oldest son, it's not good to push yourself until you break, Suma said. You can't save anyone if you're dead. Whenever I tense up, my broken bones ache, stopping me from mustering any strength. He jumped as the claw attack went his way. That demon's attack is leaving tears that look like claw marks. I'm too scared to move in closer. Fear is a powerful emotion, one that must be trained to overcome. You must conquer your fear to kill the demon, Yubayashiki said. I know, thank you for your advice. If I charge forward to get in striking distance, I'm afraid that a flash of pain will make me falter. If that happens, I'll be torn to shreds. He imagined himself being sliced in several pieces. I can't help but imagine the most horrible things. Help me. Zenitsu hugged Tanjiro. No, I don't want my only friend to be cut into pieces. You better survive this. You made a promise to me in the future, didn't you? Don't worry, I have every intention to survive this in the future. Yorokodaki appeared in his mind. Consider the characteristics of water. Pour it into a container and it's a square. Pour it into a bottle and it's round. It can smash boulders or flow as far as the eye can see. I'm glad my words are helping you in this battle, Yorokodaki said. Tanjiro smiled back at Yorokodaki. Your words really do help me. Thank you. They're being mushy again, Nakheim thought. Of course, I remember. There are 10 water-breathing forms, so I can adapt to any opponent. If you're wounded, you have to make a move that will compensate for it. I can take on any form, and this flow will never be stopped. Tanjiro thought. Waves of water were in his head. You sound more confident. I'm glad, Hinetsuru said. I think I have a plan. I'm pretty sure I know what it is too, Tanjiro said. Kyogai struck the drum on his left shoulder, making the room spin. More important than my bones, my spirit was broken, he thought. An image of Zenitsu appeared in his mind crying, That's not going to do anyone any good. Would you stay out of my head, please? Tanjiro yelled. Zenitsu scoffed. Why did you imagine me saying that? I give way better advice than that. Sorry, I couldn't help it, Tanjiro said. Look straight ahead, steel yourself, give it everything you've got. You can do it. Tanjiro picked up his sword. I've been able to survive for this long. I know I have what it takes. Whether it happens today or tomorrow, I can assure you this. Without a shadow of doubt in my mind, I will not yield. You've got this, Tanjiro, Zenitsu said. Yelling at the demon like that was badass, Genya admitted. Let's continue then, Shira said. Episode 13, Something More Important Than Life. The episode started with a recap, ending with Tanjiro yelling at the demon once again. The screen filled with ink, showing the title. It cut to Zenitsu and Shoichi running through the halls. I can't believe that you yelled at the demon like that, Kanao said softly. You shouldn't waste time on yelling, you should just behead it, Takedo said. Tanjiro, where are you right now? Zenitsu asked. I can still hear that creepy sound. I just hope he's safe, Zenitsu thought. I hope you don't run into any more demons, Zenitsu, Tanjiro said. Me too. I don't think my poor heart can take another scare, Zenitsu said. Zenitsu, is it me? Or are we just going around and around in circles? Shoichi asked. Hey, circles, Zenitsu screamed. Stop screaming, it's infuriating, Akaza said. I knew it. I was getting the exact same feeling. I knew I could rely on you, Shoichi, Zenitsu said, moving to a door. All right, can you check to see if this room is clear? Did you seriously send the defenseless child to see if the room was safe? Iguro asked. It was future me, Zenitsu said, trying to defend himself. I promise I won't do that in the future. Hey, what's with that look? All right, fine. You win, I'll do it myself, Zenitsu said as he peeked into the room. There's nobody here. Let's go this way. Why is everyone bullying me with their terrifying looks? Zenitsu wondered. Why does he look like he's about to burst into tears? Aoi wondered as she looked at Zenitsu. Zenitsu continued to lead Shoichi around. Where are you, Tanjiro? You can come out now. The drum banging was heard where they were. Just then the room changed and flipped. Zenitsu commented on it as they fell. They screamed as they fell through several doors. After they fell through a few rooms, the sky was seen. It moved back to the fight Tanjiro was dealing with. The drum was hit twice, making the room move. The drum, it changed the rooms, Suma exclaimed. They're falling out of the mansion, Kuina said. I'm glad they got out of there, Kenroji sighed. Boring. I can't believe that loud kid didn't die. Jayako though. Tanjiro gasped as he was thrown around the room. The drum was hit repeatedly. I can do it. I know I can. He fell to the ground and thought. I always finish what I start. No matter what, even with my body in this condition, I can pull through and keep fighting. How is he still motivated? Why won't he just give up? Jotaro wondered. I believe in you, kid. Kill that demon flamboyantly, Makio smiled. The room flipped again. Tanjiro gasped. He was being thrown like a rag doll. The claws came right at him. Show him that a few broken bones isn't going to slow me down, he thought. Be careful, Tanjiro. Having broken bones is all the more reason to not do risky things, Kacho said. You're right, I'll be sure to be careful in the future, Tanjiro said. Tanjiro winced as he back-hit what was becoming the floor. Kyogre stood unbothered. As soon as he regained his footing, the room flipped. Tanjiro clung onto a light fixture. Damn, he's truly a skilled opponent. It's going to take more than determination to kill him, Tanjiro thought. You are going to be all right, Tanjiro? Zenitsu asked softly. Tanjiro turned to Zenitsu and smiled. Even if something goes wrong, this is all happening in the future, which means I can avoid it when we leave. Damn it, I can't win like this. I need more than just determination. Calm down. Use your head to think things through, Tanjiro thought, trying to reason with himself. The claw marks headed for him. He yelled at himself to think. Resulting in releasing the light fixture, he fell towards what became the floor. Some of the doors fell off, making the falling worse. Tanjiro clung onto a stable piece, making sure he didn't fall. He's giving you no time to think, Sanjuro whispered. Oh my, that was a close one, Kanata said. It's weird that where Tanjiro is falling into was once the floor. This blood demon art is quite tricky, Yubayashiki said. As if he could die from that height. Daki mentally scoffed. You can do it. Kill that stupid demon Kentaro, Inosuke shouted. That was close. I barely scraped by there, Tanjiro thought. Curses, this is irritating. I need to consume some merchai before it's too late, Kyogre said. What is he talking about? Lower 6 has already been filled, and if he got taken out by a couple of unranked demons, there's no way he could defeat the new one, Rui thought. This damn demon is getting on my nerves. All he's talking about is the Merchai kid, Shinazugawa said. Tanjiro swung himself up from his impending doom. He stood up, only to be thrown back on the new floor, at the beat of the drum. I doubt Kyogre is going to be able to kill this stubborn kid, Muzan thought. There's not even time to think, Tanjiro thought, avoiding the claw marks. Hey, you, what's your name? Tanjiro yelled. Several characters looked at Tanjiro in surprise. Why the hell are you asking for the demon's name? Aguro asked. I agree, you should be focused on not getting killed and decapitating it, Rengoku added. Although this is the future, I guess it's because I want to tell him I'm not giving him Kiyoshi, Tanjiro guessed. This kid really is weird. He's asking a demon what its name is, Rui thought. Kyogre moved back in surprise before responding, It's Kyogre. Kyogre, listen. I'm not giving you that child. I won't bend to you, it's futile, Tanjiro said. You go, Tanjiro, tell him that he's not getting Kiyoshi, Zenitsu said. How awful. The yelling is unbearable, Hantingu thought. Kyogre scowled as a memory played in his mind. A black and white image of a man appeared. He's remembering something from when he was a human, Daki said, surprised. I suppose what Tanjiro said triggered a memory, Temeo said. Don't you see that it's futile? The man asked. I will get my hands on that boy and reclaim my place among the 12 Kazuki, Kyogre shouted, revealing his numbered eye. I still can't believe that you're fighting with an ex-member of the 12 Kazuki, Genya said. I agree, it is quite an ambitious goal, for a Mizunoto rank, Rengoku said. I think it's flashy, Yusui said. The drums began beating rapidly. The number of claw marks increased too. The claws broke dressers filled with papers, making them scatter all over the floor. Kyogre beat his drums aggressively. The words played in his head again. There were papers in the dressers. Why would he break them open? Kanjiro asked. Who knows what those monsters are thinking? I wouldn't be surprised if he could control the papers, Shinazugawa scowled. Don't you see it's futile? The man asked again. A human Kyogre was shown looking at the ground. The man stood up insulting Kyogre. Rain was pouring outside. The moon illuminated the men. What is that man calling futile? Kacho asked. This is so boring, disappointing. Your writing is absolutely insipid. Every last word on these pages is utterly trite, the man said, throwing the papers on the ground. There's no beauty, invulnerability, or impact. What harsh words, Amin said. I'm sure they wouldn't have been necessary if his writing was flashier, Yusui said. Even so, that's so disheartening. The man shouldn't be bashing Kyogai, Tanjiro said. Why don't you forget this fantasy of being a writer? It would simply be a waste of ink and paper. It doesn't help that you never step outside anymore. It's no wonder you're such a dull individual. And if that's the case, you might as well stick with your original hobby of playing the drum. Know that you're good enough to be more than an amateur with that either, the man said. That's so cruel, Kenroji said. A fellow artist, it's a shame he has no talent, Jayako huffed. Kyogai gasped as his work was stepped on by the man. The man walked away from Kyogai, leaving him with his thoughts. Tears fell out of his eyes as the papers turned red, matching Kyogai's eyes. He moved his Haori from his stomach, revealing a drum. Wait, he was already a demon, Zenitsu gasped. I can't believe that man stepped on his papers. However, Kyogai shouldn't have killed him, Tanjiro said. Damn demons, killing however doesn't agree with them, Shinzagawa muttered. He struck it, and caused the claw marks to appear. The man never left the room, as he was sliced into several pieces. It went back to Kyogai, who was yelling at Tanjiro. The newer slayers winced at the sight of the man getting chopped up. Heimjima began praying for the man, while the others looked unbothered for the most part. Damn insect, get out of my sight, rapid drumming, Kyogai yelled, raising his hands up. I do wish he wouldn't use insect as an insult. It's quite rude, Kacho thought. Wait, rapid drumming. He can hit the drums even faster, Zenitsu gasped. Don't tell me he can hit the drums even faster, Tanjiro thought. Unfortunately for Tanjiro, he could. Kyogai hit each drum faster than before. The papers flew around the room with the furniture. Tanjiro screamed as he spun in circles. How unfortunate. The rotations are cruel, Amin said. I could kill that demon easily. I don't get nauseous, Inosuke laughed. The speed of these rotations is making me dizzy. This is bad. What a terrifying skill. Not only that, but now he's using 5 claws instead of 3. Tanjiro noticed, barely dodging them. He has 5 claws now. How interesting, Dauma murmured. Shinjiro rolled his eyes. You better kill that pathetic demon. Tanjiro began falling to the floor. He gasped at the papers. As he landed, he made sure not to step on them. Kyogai gasped at Tanjiro's gesture. You avoided the papers. Why? Takedo asked. I suppose it's because they looked important. Also, I needed to figure out how to land without injuring myself. So that seemed like a good way to practice mid-fight, Tanjiro suggested. I wonder why the demon looks so surprised, Tomioka said. Were you not paying attention earlier, Tomioka? The demon's surprised because it's used to people walking over its work, Kacho said. I got it, Tanjiro thought after he stumbled back. Kyogai unleashed another claw attack, making the papers scatter again. Tanjiro jumped out of the way again. Another attack went above his head. He's attacking his own work. How sad, Kenroji said. Now that I dodged his strikes without stepping on those papers, I can protect my wounds because I know how to move around and breathe, Tanjiro noted. Good, I'm glad he's figuring it out, Urakadaki thought. I'm figuring it out. That's a relief, Tanjiro smiled. Kyogai began hitting his drums again, 2 at a time now. Take quick, shallow breaths. Use that breathing technique to reinforce the muscle around your broken leg, Tanjiro thought, dodging another strike. Also, right before the claw attack, there's a strong scent of mold. I smell it. Here it comes. That's totally unfair. You can smell where the attack is going to come from, Zenitsu said. I bet I could do that too. You're not the only special one here, Gunpei Kairo, Inosuke laughed. It's Tanjiro, Inosuke, Tanjiro said. Tanjiro mentally called out where each attack was coming from, and dodged it with ease. Kyogai gasped at Tanjiro's new ability. He's avoiding all of my attacks, Kyogai thought. You're surprising the demon. Good job, Kocho said. Thank you, Kocho, Tanjiro smiled. Tanjiro inhaled as Kyogai looked frustrated. Total concentration. Water breathing, Tanjiro thought. Which form is he going to use? Iguro asked. Ooh, I hope it's a new one. I really want to see more of those special effect thingies, Kenroji squealed. If I had to guess, I think I'm going to use the 9th form, Tanjiro guessed. He jumped forward, causing water puddles to come from under his feet. Each time he took a step they appeared. A circle of the splashed-up water formed a ring around Tanjiro. Sounds of awe were heard from both sides of the room. Yuzui was shouting flashy, and Kenroji was squealing at the effects. Embarrassment fell on Tanjiro's face when he became the center of attention. I'm glad you've mastered the 9th form. I know that can be tricky for some people, Tomioka praised. Tanjiro looked at Tomioka and smiled. Thank you, Tomioka, that means a lot. TCH, Tanjiro's getting everyone's attention. Even the ladies. I'm going to get him for it later, Zenitsu thought. These special effect things are well made, Muzan thought. 9th form, splashing water flow, turbulent. Minimize the landing time and area as much as possible, Tanjiro thought, charging at Kyogai. That's quite impressive, Kamado, Rengoku said. You're adapting to the room quickly. I'm sure with more training your reaction time will get even better, Aoi said. He's adapting to the changes of the room, Kyogai noted. Go Tanjiro, get within striking distance, closer, don't give him any room to breathe, Tanjiro thought. Just then the opening thread was smelt. It rang as it pulled tight on Kyogai's neck. Hell yeah, the opening thread, you've got this Tanjiro, Inosuke shouted. You're so cool, Tanjiro, Kenroji smiled. I see the opening thread, Tanjiro thought as he closed in. Kyogai, your blood demon art was truly incredible, Tanjiro yelled. Wait, really? Do you actually mean that? Genya asked. Of course I do. I don't waste words on things I don't truly mean, Tanjiro said. I thought him not stepping on the papers was weird, but now he's complimenting a demon's blood art. This kid is so odd, Rui thought. Kyogai's eyes widened as his head was cut by Tanjiro. Blood splattered around as Kyogai's head fell to the floor. Tanjiro's reflection was in Kyogai's eyes. Tanjiro inhaled sharply, only to get a flash of pain. That has hurt. Well, now that the demon is dead, you better be taking things carefully, Tamo said. I will. I took a deep breath by mistake. He thought as he fell to the floor, it's okay, Tanjiro, you can bear this. It'll pass. Boy, Kyogai started. Ah, don't tell me he's going to torture you like the last demon you killed, Zenitsu yelled. No, I don't think he is. His tone of voice doesn't seem to be full of malice. You should know this, Zenitsu. You're the one with good hearing, Tanjiro said. Tanjiro gasped and turned to Kyogai's head. Blood pooled below the head. Answer me. Did you really think my blood demon art was incredible? He asked in a raspy voice. This child is certainly odd. Several of the demons he's slain have cried because of his kindness, Kiriya thought. I still find it odd that you can compliment demons, Takedo sighed. Not that they deserve it, Iguro muttered. Tanjiro turned away for a moment before responding. I truly did. However, I can't forgive you for killing. I'm glad that even though you're complimenting them, you are still holding them accountable, Tameo said. Of course. Even if I compliment a demon, I'll always hold them accountable for their actions. I could never forgive them for killing innocent people, Tanjiro said. Lady Tameo is so beautiful. I'm sure she'll be even prettier tomorrow. Yushiro smiled. I see, Kyogai said, his head beginning to disintegrate. Oh, that's right. Gotta get a blood sample, Tanjiro remembered. Way to go, Tanjiro. You're gonna get your first blood sample, Zenitsu said. Good job, Kamado. Even though he isn't a 12 Kazuki anymore, he surely has quite a bit of Kibutsuji's blood, Rengoku cheered. Thank you. I'm glad my future self is going to get one step closer to the cure, Tanjiro said. He pulled out a needle from his pocket and uncapped it. He threw it at Kyogai's disappearing body, piercing the skin effortlessly. The needle whistled as it began to suck up blood. Tanjiro walked over to the body. That needle drew blood automatically. How flashy, Yuzui said. Did you make that needle, Yushiro? It's really cool, Tanjiro asked. I did make it, and thanks, but it's nothing, Yushiro said. Wow, it worked. He said it would automatically extract blood when applied like this. But seeing it in action proves how crafty Yushiro really is, Tanjiro thought. Just then a cat meowing was heard. Tanjiro jumped at the sudden sound. Chachimaru walked up to Tanjiro with a bag on his back. Kacho and Tomioka's eyes widened at the sight of Chachimaru on the screen. Meanwhile, Kenroji and Hajime cooed at the screen. Tanjiro gasped at the cute cat. "I see Yushiro's paper on the cat. I assume that he's there to collect the blood," Kacho said. "Yes, his name is Chachimaru," Tameo said. "He's so cute, Miss Tameo," Kenroji squealed. "Huh? A cat? Oh, you're the one who's going to deliver this to Miss Tameo, right?" Tanjiro asked. He petted the cat gently before putting the blood in the pouch. "Here we are, good kitty. You're all set. All right, take care." The cat walked away from Tanjiro. It disappeared as soon as it meowed again. "Aw man, the cat's gone again," Kenroji said. "Your blood demon art is quite useful, Yushiro," Makio said. "Thank you, I've spent quite a lot of time training with it," Yushiro said. "Oh, I was told that under Yushiro's spell, it would be invisible until it meowed, and then vanish again when it meowed a second time. So it's true then," Tanjiro thought. "Oh, those kids, I gotta find them," Tanjiro said, before he got up. "I hope that they're still all right," Tameo said. "I have a feeling they are all right. When Kiyoshi was talking about the demons that wanted to eat him, we only saw 3. All 3 of them were killed, right?" Kanao said. "I believe so," Kacho said. "My writing," Kyogai thought, the memory on display once again. "Disappointing. Your writing is absolutely insipid," the man said, dropping the papers again. "Every last word on these pages is utterly trite. There's no beauty, vulnerability, or impact." The man stepped on the writing again. Even though that man was killed, what he said was uncalled for. "There are nicer ways to give criticism," Tanjiro said. "It was really kind of you to give him a glimpse of happiness before you killed him," Zenitsu said. "It wasn't worthless. At the very least, that child didn't believe so. He respectfully avoided trampling on my work." Kyogai thought. "Why are the demons trying to redeem themselves? They're murderous monsters," Kocho wondered. "It's good that Kyogai wasn't here. Master Muzan would have killed him on the spot," Hantengu thought. "It seems that my demons are dropping in order, starting with those who have the most of their humanity left. This could be a problem," Muzan thought. "May your soul rest in peace," Tanjiro said. "This kid, he's praying for a demon again. His level of sympathy must be unmatched," Shinjiro thought. He bowed at the corpse and took off running. Tears fell out of Kyogai's eyes. His head was disappearing quickly. "Both my blood demon art and my drum playing have been recognized." Those were his last thoughts. "I'm glad that he died with happy thoughts," Tanjiro thought. Shinazugawa rolled his eyes. "Whatever, nobody cares about your stupid tragedy. It's not like a sad past reverses all the murder you committed." The screen went white as Kyogai passed. It transitioned to Tanjiro screaming out the kids' names. "Kiyoshi, Truko, are you here? Answer me." Tanjiro ran through the halls, opening a door. "Truko, Kiyoshi." Truko screamed as she threw a book at Tanjiro. Tanjiro avoided it, but didn't avoid the book that landed directly on his forehead. He fell to the ground. The kids had things still in their hands. "Why are they throwing things at Tanjiro? He saved their lives," Zenitsu asked. "They probably didn't know that it was Tanjiro at first," Aoi suggested. "Oh," Truko whispered. "Sorry, Tanjiro," Kiyoshi said. "Why are the 2 of you throwing stuff at me?" Tanjiro yelled, still holding his forehead. "We're sorry. The drum we were using disappeared, so we panicked," Kiyoshi explained. "Right, the drum was a part of the demon, so when it disappeared so did the drum," Tanjiro muttered. "I'm surprised they found all of that stuff so quickly," Tomioka said. "I see. Well, you're safe. I'm glad," Tanjiro said. Truko broke down in tears. Tanjiro walked up to them and the pile of stuff they had around them. Tanjiro rubbed her head gently. "Those poor children, they've been through so much," Suma cried. "Suma, quit being a baby. They're going to be fine," Makio yelled. "Girls, calm down. Both of you are acting like children," Hinetsuru sighed. "You did a great job there. You too, Kiyoshi. Come on, let's head outside." "Kiyoshi, hop on." Tanjiro bent down and gave Kiyoshi a piggyback ride. "I'm not sure if that's a good idea, Tanjiro. Your wounds are still healing. You shouldn't put more pressure on them," Aoi said. "I know, but I'm sure future me will be fine. When this happens to me, I'll be sure to be more careful, Tanjiro promised. The three of them walked through the halls towards the exit. How's your leg feeling? Tanjiro asked. Not too bad, Kiyoshi responded. I'm glad my ointment helped him, Urokodaki smiled. Just hang on a little longer. I'm picking up Zenitsu and Shoichi's scent. They're probably outside. Seems they're both safe. Wait, Tanjiro, why did you stop mid-sentence? That can't be good, Zenitsu said, beginning to freak out. I'm sure it's not that bad. It's daytime so no demon could kill you, Tanjiro said. Tanjiro stopped. Fear fell on his face. I smell blood. Blood? That doesn't make any sense. Why am I smelling blood? Tanjiro asked. Demons are out of the question, so what else could it be? Rengoku asked. Don't you remember? Zenitsu and Shoichi fell from the second-story window. I'm sure that's what caused the smell of blood, Kocho said. What's the matter? Kiyoshi asked. Nothing. Let's hurry along, Tanjiro said, picking up the pace. The three of them ran towards the exit. The bright light changed into Zenitsu, who was getting kicked. Why am I getting kicked? Zenitsu shouted. I recognize that foot. Tanjiro turned to the cause of their problems. Inosuke, are you kicking Zenitsu? I'm probably just challenging Zenitsu to a battle, Inosuke said. Take this, Inosuke shouted as he kicked Zenitsu. Come on, move it. Now you spineless coward, draw your sword and face me. I'm not convinced. This supposed battle seems very one-sided, Akaza thought. Zenitsu was huddled around the box Nezuko was in. Tanjiro gasped at the sight. Shoichi was crying behind a tree. Nezuko's box. What does she have to do with anything? Tanjiro asked firmly. It's probably from him picking up a demonic presence, Iguro said. Tanjiro, the box. I protected it. You told me this was more important to you than your own life. That's why I did it, Zenitsu said. Tanjiro's expression softened. Thank you, Zenitsu. We barely knew each other, and you still chose to protect Nezuko. You didn't even know about Nezuko. I'm not sure about that. I probably heard her, Zenitsu thought. Blood was dripping from his mouth and nose. He had a black eye forming too. The screen faded to white, going back in time showing Zenitsu's side of things. He was lying on the ground facing the blue sky. Your face looks like a wonderful piece of art, but I have to know, why didn't you defend yourself? Jayako asked. Hell if I know. I also want to know why I'm just taking a beating from Boarhead over there, Zenitsu said. Boarhead, I'm totally gonna kick your ass in the future, Inosuke shouted. The fact is, I've always had really good hearing. There have been times when I knew what people had said, even though I was fast asleep. That really creeped everyone out, Zenitsu thought. Can you really do that? That's so cool, Tanjiro smiled. Zenitsu's eyes gleamed. You really think that? Of course. Well, I think that being able to hear when you're not awake is flashy, Yusui said. I don't hear any more demons. You must have finished the job, Tanjiro. I can hear you all, and also these odd-sounding, loud footsteps. Zenitsu, Zenitsu, Shoichi called out. Please wake up. I can't believe that we fell from the second-story window. That's so scary, Zenitsu said. Shoichi was sitting next to Zenitsu. Tears were in his eyes. Zenitsu woke up and looked at Shoichi. Zenitsu sat up slowly. I'm just glad that you seem to be okay, Tanjiro beamed. Thank goodness. Are you all right? When the room spun around earlier, we ended up getting thrown outside. We fell from the second-story window, Shoichi said. Zenitsu gasped, flowers above his head. Did we really? Why are there flowers around my head? Am I seeing things? Zenitsu asked. Ah, those. Another creative liberty we did. It represents happiness most of the time, Shira informed the rest. Yeah, Shoichi nodded. You made sure that I was protected at the time, though. So I didn't end up getting hurt at all. How noble of you. You protected the kid and made sure he didn't get hurt, Makio praised. That is pretty flashy, if I do say so myself, Yusui said. I'm glad to hear that. So what's with all the tears then? Zenitsu asked. He moved his hand away from the back of his head. Blood was fresh on it. Blood. How awful. Hantengu thought, cowering in fear. Blood? Am I going to die? I'm too young to die. I haven't even gotten married yet, Zenitsu screamed. You aren't going to die. Judging from that amount of blood, nothing serious is going to happen, Aoi said. Now I understand. I fell right onto my head, didn't I? Zenitsu screamed. Yes. Am I gonna die? Zenitsu asked. He did a dramatic sigh. Oh no, the world is starting to spin. Is this the end for me? You're so dramatic, Shinazugawa sighed. So what? I had a near-death experience, let me have this moment, Zenitsu huffed. You do realize that almost everyone in this room has gone through way more near-death moments than you, right? Iguro asked. His worry was interrupted by Inosuke's laughing. What's going on? I don't like that sound, Zenitsu said. The noise came from the entrance. Inosuke laughed. Watch out, cause ready or not, I'm coming through. I guess this is when Inosuke came out of the house, Genya said. Is everyone ready for my amazing exit? Inosuke shouted. Inosuke headbutted the door down. Zenitsu panicked and grabbed onto Shoichi. It wasn't that amazing, Zenitsu thought, rolling his eyes at the sight. There it is again, that terrifying boar monster, Zenitsu screamed. Inosuke laughed, picking up a demonic presence here. So, he did pick up my sister's presence. I guess this is when the fight started, Tanjiro said. Hey, wait, I know where I've heard that voice before. He is the 5th survivor. During final selection, he was the first to rush up the mountain and the first to come back down. What a force of nature. So, you are the 5th survivor. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, Genya sighed. Wow, Inosuke, you really were cool. I can't believe you were the first to go up and get down, Tanjiro praised. Well, I am the great Lord Inosuke, so you should all be amazed, Inosuke laughed. Inosuke looked over at the box and laughed. I've found you, demon. You should apologize to Tanjiro for trying to kill his sister, Zenitsu said. Nah, I'm good, Inosuke said. He charged at the box, only to get stopped by Zenitsu rushing in front of it. Stop it, Zenitsu yelled, holding his arms out to guard the box. What the hell? Who are you? Get out of my way, Inosuke said. My name is Zenitsu Agatsuma. I'm a demon slayer, the same as you. Oh, are you now? Inosuke asked rhetorically. Then you should already know. We gotta get rid of that thing at all costs. Now get the hell out of my way. I refuse. This belongs to Tanjiro. Don't you argue with me. I'll deal with him and his box. If that's the case, I won't say it again. Move. Inosuke put his sword at Zenitsu's neck. Zenitsu whimpered in fear but stayed put. Do you want to die? This box? I won't let you touch it. I don't know what's inside, but I know that it's precious to Tanjiro. Why is he protecting the box? The demon girl isn't his sister, Rui thought. Are you serious? Use your damn head. There's a demon in that box. Don't you get that? Of course I do. I've known that from the very start, Zenitsu screamed. You did? I knew you had good hearing, but I didn't think you'd know about Nezuko if I didn't tell you, Tanjiro said. The memory of Tanjiro playing as he thought. I knew he was traveling with a demon, because the sounds demons make aren't anything like a human. That said, the sounds I hear from Tanjiro are so kind and gentle it makes me want to cry. Do you really think that, Zenitsu? Tanjiro asked. I do. Even though I've only been around you for a few hours, I can tell you're really kind, Zenitsu smiled. I don't think I've heard anything like it before. All living creatures constantly give off vibrations. The world is full of sounds ringing out. Breathing, heartbeats, the rhythm of blood circulating. By listening closely, I'm able to tell what kinds of thoughts are going through someone's head. Zenitsu thought. The images of creatures were shown. I can't believe that kid can hear heartbeats and blood circulating. That's so unique, Kanata thought. He began to think about the women who tricked him. Even so, I've been deceived by others many times. That's because I've always stubbornly believed in whomever I've wanted. Tanjiro, despite being a demon slayer, is traveling with a demon. But I'm sure he has a good reason for doing so. Whatever that reason may be, I'm sure I can put my faith behind it. Zenitsu, you really are a good person too, Tanjiro smiled. I agree, Kenroji smiled. Even though you're a bit of a weirdo when it comes to girls, I guess you aren't that bad, Aoi admitted. Tears began to fall out of Zenitsu's eyes as he thanked them. However, the touching moment was interrupted with the fight beginning again. I'll do it, I'll ask him. I'll ask Tanjiro about the demon myself. Until that happens, just leave it alone, Zenitsu shouted. Inosuke kicked Zenitsu's face repeatedly. Zenitsu fell to the ground, leaving the box unprotected. Inosuke went to kill Nezuko, but Zenitsu tackled him. The kid is strong. Stronger than he believes. He needs more self-confidence, Yurakodaki thought. Let go of me, damn it, Inosuke shouted, elbowing Zenitsu. You pest. He threw Zenitsu off of him and headed for the box. However, he fell. When he looked behind him, he saw Zenitsu holding his leg. I won't let you touch that. Inosuke kicked Zenitsu's face again. However, Zenitsu held on tight. That's important to Tanjiro. Stay away from it, Zenitsu yelled. He threw Inosuke away from the box and ran towards it, hugging it as a form of protection. Wow, you actually managed to throw me off of you. What took you so long to defend yourself? What are you talking about, you idiot? The only reason I'm fighting you is so that you don't hurt Nezuko, Zenitsu shouted. You're not laying a finger on it until he gets back, Zenitsu yelled. You're very brave, Zenitsu. Thank you for risking your life for Nezuko, Tanjiro said. Maybe this kid has more guts than I thought, Iguro noted. Damn you, take this, he kicked Zenitsu again. It shifted the view from the fight. The ground began to get splattered with blood. Inosuke held his sword at Zenitsu. That blood, it's surely a lot. Inosuke, you shouldn't fight with other corps members, Aoi said. Move it. No, I refuse. It went back to the present with Tanjiro running to the exit. Inosuke was kicking Zenitsu again. Everyone watched the fight. Not much was said, nobody knew what the right words to say were. Take this, Inosuke shouted as he kicked Zenitsu. Come on, move it. Now you spineless coward, draw your sword and face me. Zenitsu was huddled around the box Nezuko was in. Tanjiro gasped at the sight. Shoichi was crying behind a tree. Tanjiro, the box, I protected it. You told me this was more important to you than your own life. That's why I did it, Zenitsu said. Tanjiro looked over at Zenitsu's injured face, sad he wasn't there earlier. Inosuke broke up the touching moment by kicking Zenitsu. You idiot, after all that bluster, you don't even bother to draw your sword. If you're a fellow demon slayer, then let's see you fight. Zenitsu fell to the ground after Inosuke kicked him. Tanjiro looked at them, imagining the bloody Nezuko on top of Rokuta. He stared at them annoyed. Zenitsu faced Tanjiro. I reminded you of your dead family. Is that why you look so mad? I assume so, Tanjiro said, annoyed that his family was shown. I can't believe we got blessed with that artwork Lord Muzan made again, Jayako thought. If you're not gonna fight, then get the hell out of my way, Inosuke yelled, kicking Zenitsu after every word. I can't believe that you're attacking Zenitsu. He isn't even fighting back, Tanjiro exasperated. He's making this very easy, Inosuke said, turning to Zenitsu. The next time we fight you better fight back. Doesn't he know about the Demon Slayer rules? Rengoku wondered. Fury was on Tanjiro's face as he looked at the ground. Move aside. He kept kicking Zenitsu angrily. Tanjiro tightened his fist. Each blow landed on Zenitsu. The last straw was Zenitsu spitting out blood from all the hits. Tanjiro hissed softly at the scene. I can feel his anger emanating from the screen. He's so scary, Zenitsu thought. How interesting, the kid is angry. Maybe we'll see some lovely bloodshed, Enmu thought. Fine then, if all you're gonna do is keep me from doing my job, then you leave no choice but to take you out along with the box. Zenitsu braced himself as Inosuke raised his sword. While I appreciate that you're trying to do your job, Inosuke, in the future don't threaten another demon slayer's life please, Yubayashiki said. I hope that kid gets involved. I want to see him fight again, Akaza thought. Stop it, Tanjiro shouted. Inosuke turned to Tanjiro, huh? Zenitsu looked up at Tanjiro. Tanjiro ran from the siblings, charging at Inosuke. I said stop, Tanjiro screamed. I don't think we've seen you this angry, aside from when you yelled at Kibitsuji, Genya said. Well, of course I'm going to be angry. Future Inosuke is hurting Zenitsu, and trying to hurt my only living family, Tanjiro sighed. As Tanjiro headed towards Inosuke, the screen faded to black. Finally, we're going to fight, Manjiro, Inosuke shouted. He really is clueless. Fighting amongst demon slayers is taboo, Zenitsu thought. Let's continue, this is getting good, Akaza said.